What up, everybody? Good morning and happy Football Thursday. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios this morning. A big thanks for tuning in wherever, however you're tuning in from. If it's on those radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Available to stream online at our website, sportstalk1051.com. You got your Alexa devices. Just say, yo, Alexa, play WAYY. Video streams also up and rolling on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Instagram. But a very happy Thursday to all of you. What do we have on our game plan for us this morning? Well, it's a Thursday night football, baby. Packers, Commanders, we're right back at it. Right back at it, right? We got keys to victory. Your key players in this game. Your predictions for this game. I want to hear it all. So start to hit me up with some texts on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912, or you can comment on the various video streams that we have over there. What do you think are the biggest keys to victory? What are you? Give me a key player. All right, give me a key player for. Hey, you can do both sides of the ball too. Do a key offensive player. Do a key defensive player. Give me one of each that you think will be pivotal, crucial to a victory for Green Bay tonight. And of course, send me those predictions, okay? Want to hear from you. We're going to get into it. We got lots of football talk to preview this game, kind of a little early pregame show coming at you. You're going to need Amazon Prime to watch it tonight. Hate to be the bearer. Bad news. It is what it is. Can't do that. Can't help you out with that. But kickoff is at 7:15 this evening. Don't have a Brewer game to worry about. They have the off day today, and maybe they need it because they got swept yesterday. Rangers taking them down. First time the Brewers have been swept in a 3-game series since the opener against the Yankees. So it's been a hot minute, but things are starting to get a little bit closer in the National League standings here. When you look at it from an overall National League standing point, the Phillies are now just 2.5 back. But again, remember the Brewers have the tiebreaker, so kind of like 3.5, but still inching closer and closer. Don't like it. And then when you look at it from a division standpoint, the Brewers holding on to a 5.5 game lead. But again, since the Cubs hold the tiebreaker, it's kind of like a 4.5 game lead. So both Brewers and Cubs have the off day today. Brewers getting set for a series against the Cardinals back at home. Cubs will be back at home taking on Tampa Bay tomorrow. So maybe the Brewers just need to get home where they're 20 games above 500, 46 and 26 on the season. So maybe being back in Milwaukee will help them out there a little bit. So, but yeah, Brewers falling yesterday, not able to hold on to victory after jumping out to an early lead. But that's kind of been I don't know. That was kind of a little bit of a theme here in this series against Rangers. Brewers would have a lead and just can't hold on to it. You know, you had back-to-back home runs in the first by Terang and Cheerio, thinking, all right, here we go. Freddie Peralta's on the mound. He's going to have a 2-0 lead, and Rangers chipping away at it, and that's the ball game. 6-3 loss. Freddie Peralta gets charged with the loss. Is at 6th on the season. Now 16-6. Freddie going 5 innings, getting charged with 5 earned runs. I mean, Merrill Kelly gave up 10 hits in the game too, but boy, just well, maybe it's just one of those series. Again, Texas trying to get back into that postseason hunts, just a game out from a wild card spot. So maybe just playing them at the wrong time here. But hopefully being back in Milwaukee will help out the Brewers, and they can bounce back and get this series against the Cardinals. So we'll throw a little Brewers chat, mix it in here with some Packers chats throughout the morning here too. So I got that on the docket. Of course, we'll catch up with Jake Bulks coming up at about 8:30 this morning. So with the bow season nearly upon us, coming up just in a couple days this weekend, right? So if you have any last second questions for Jake, maybe regarding opening bow or something else, any other hunting season, fish, whatever the case may be, now is the time to ask it for our DNR warden buddy, Mr. Jake Boak. So text those on over to us so we can get those questions to him ahead of time. Text it to me now. If you're listening, you're like, I got a question. I'll text it when he's on. No, text it now. All right. Get it to me now so we can send those on over to Mr. Bulks. He'll be coming up at, again, about 8:30 here this morning. So we got that on the docket, and we're going to do a little new thing every Thursday, a little Sconnie Throwback Thursday. So kind of taking a look at this day in history, but Wisconsin version. So every Thursday moving forward, we'll do a little Sconnie Throwback Thursday. And it actually, they're get to it a little bit later on, but I actually remember this one happening. I remember watching it as a little, as I should say a little kid, because was I 13? I have to do the math. Watching it on my little TV in my room back in good old Medford. So I actually remember watching this one. Yeah, 13. Man, I feel like I was younger when that game actually happened, but don't want to give it away, get to it, but yeah, I do remember watching this on my little black and white TV. I think, gosh, maybe it was like a 13-inch TV in my room. Just this little old thing there. But we'll get to that coming up a little bit later on for our new segment called our Sconnie Throwback Thursday. So that's kind of the game plan. We might have a couple other guests be popping up in a little bit later on in the program. I'll keep you posted with that. Maybe a couple surprises and such. But let's get things rolling here this morning, shall we? On the leadoff, we got Packers, we've got Commanders. The injury report coming out yesterday, and nobody's doubtful, which I guess is good, right? Nobody's doubtful. We got a bunch of questionables on here, and that includes Zach Tom and Aaron Banks. Questionable. Remember, Matt LaFleur saying earlier in the week that they were going to give him up to game time. We do have a couple outs, which probably were expected. Bretton Cox Jr. and Bo Melton, I guess, kind of saying the doubtful part. Zach Tom's not doubtful. Aaron Banks is not doubtful. So maybe that's good. At least it seems like it's not a long-term issue with those guys. But Zane Anderson listed as questionable. Aaron Banks listed as questionable. Nate Hobbs listed as questionable, but he was practicing all last week, limited fashion, limited again this week. Maybe he'll make his debut tonight. Micah Parsons listed as questionable. I think we all know he's going to play. And Zach Tom listed as questionable too. So, and then we'll find out later on today too if the Packers do elevate anybody from their practice squad, and that may give us a little bit of a glimpse. Maybe it'll give us a little bit of a glimpse on who will be active or not active for this game. So, like last week, they elevated Micah Robinson, the corner. Kind of gave us maybe a little bit of a glimpse that, Nate Hobbs wasn't probably going to play. And, well, Nate Hobbs didn't play. So if they activate an offensive lineman, now, does it necessarily mean that's the foregone conclusion? No. It just could be, hey, we want to add protection. These guys could still go, but maybe they can't last throughout the game. I don't know, but it probably gives us a good idea of what the plan's going to be. So, but let's talk some more green and gold. All right, I've got my top 5 keys to victory for tonight's game. Let's see if some of ours match up. But I've got my top 5, and then I've got my key player on each side of the ball. I'm just kind of focusing on the offense and the defense, because special teams, I mean, yeah, we want to Daniel Whelan, if he's got a punt like he did against Detroit, those 60-yard bombs with high hang time. Yes, we want McManus to make field goals. Yes, we want the hut coverage unit. Special teams, I think it's pretty cut and dry, right? So let's pick a player from the offensive side and the defensive side. a key player from each side. Let's see how many of ours kind of match up, shall we? And then, of course, I want your predictions. Okay, I want your predictions. Okay? Start to hit me up with those texts or commenting on the video streams. All right, let's take our first break, and then we're going to jump right into it this morning on the leadoff. Packers, Commanders. Let's break it all down. Week 2 officially kicks off tonight. Let's get at it. We'll be back after these quick words. With the bow opener coming up this weekend, it is a good reminder that the deer gun season is going to be right around the corner. So go visit our good friends at Tilden Gun at 12427 98th Avenue in Chippewa Falls, or check out their website, tildengun.com. With deer season right around the corner, you know November is going to be here before you know it. So make sure you go check out our good friends at Tilden Gun here. Also, don't forget to get your picks in for our Pro Football Weekly Pick'em Challenge. All right, with week 2 here, every single game is going to matter. We got a tie at the top, but a lot of people tied for second with just one game behind, so you don't want to miss a game. Get into our websites. If you made picks, you already know the drill. Hit up our website, click on the Fan Cave tab, scroll all the way down, sign in, make your picks. So you guys know the drill. C-Bomb says key player on defense for me will be Edrin Cooper. I hope they glue him on Daniels and don't let him run wild. Offensively, it is Josh Jacobs. We need to control the clock, get a lead, run it down their throat, and let our defense eat. Jeremy says offensive key player Jacobs. They need to control the ball and own the time of possession. Defense, Quay Walker. I think he's going to spy Daniels, so don't let Daniels rip off big runs. Man, Jeremy and C-Bomb thinking on the same page here. Keys to the game, own time of possession and make Daniels beat you with his arm and not his legs. Packers win 31-21. So we got Jeremy and C-Bomb with very, very, very similar keys to victory and key players there. Keep those coming. Before I go to my key players, I am going to go with my keys to victory. So I've got 5 here. I've got 5. Now, we could probably have 10, 20, 25, right? I mean, there's a boatload of keys to victory for this thing, but these are the 5 that I've been thinking about the most in terms of key to victory for the green and gold. Okay. Number 1, and honestly, it's probably a key to victory every single week. And it might be every single week when we talk about these games, but it's so important. And especially looking at the injury report, it's probably even a little bit more important this week. Protecting Jordan Love, the offensive line. Let's assume Zach Tom and Aaron Banks aren't going to play tonight. Protecting Jordan Love will be absolutely key to this. The depth will be tested. And when you look at the Commanders last week, they were able to generate nearly 50% of pressure on dropbacks against the Giants last week. I get it. It's the Giants. Okay. I know it's the Giants. But when you're losing 2 starters on your offensive line, potentially, now, I mean, it almost evens it out. It makes a huge difference. I fully believe Jordan Love played as well as he did last week because of the protection he was given by that offensive line. And if they are going to be missing 2 starters in this one, especially Zach Tom, I mean, one of the better right tackles in the entire in the entire league, it's going to make a difference. But that offensive line, it's got to be a next man up. And whoever is in, whether it's Kennard or whether it's Anthony Belton at the right tackle, or Jordan Morgan. I mean, I'm assuming if Banks is out, Morgan would slide over to left guard. But whoever it is, that level of play still has to be at an all-time high. And protecting Jordan Love is going to be absolute key, a main key to victory. And again, it's probably going to be a key to victory more times than not throughout the whole season. I mean, that's just one of those that you always put on your list. Number 2 is kind of what a lot of people are probably saying too, but it's containing Jaden Daniels. We know how athletic he is. We know that he can extend the pocket and move around in the pocket, make some plays with his feet. So containing Jaden Daniels, collapsing the pocket around him. We've talked a lot about that. I mean, that's always a key when you go up against mobile quarterbacks, right? Is that contained pressure, keeping them inside the pocket, collapsing the pocket, getting that pressure up the middle, but not allowing him to hit the edge, or, having a pressure come on the edge, but he's able to step up. You want to collapse the pocket around him and not allow him to be able to pick up big gains with his feet or pick up some first downs or extend the play. That collapsing the pocket, containing Jaden Daniels back there. And that kind of leads into my 3rd key to victory. And I think you got to generate pressure early in the down. We saw the Lions last week, and it was a key to victory for the Packers last week, is tried to neutralize the quick passing game that Detroit likes to do, and Detroit was doing it too because of the pressure that was getting after Jared Goff, but they like to have that quick passing game, and who was effective in that quick passing game? It was Sam Laporta, right? So, if you're able to get, collapse around Jane Daniels, but also try to get pressure early in the game because, I mean, you got Deebo Samuel over there. You got Terry McLaurin over there. You got Zach Ertz over there. Don't allow a quicker passing game, and don't allow Jaden Daniels to get the ball out quick. Try to get home quick. So a contained pass rush, but getting pressure early in the down. Because I think we all don't want to see another tight end have a good game, right? Or picking up those third downs because of a quicker passing game. Getting pressure early in the down. Number 4, again, it's probably always it's gonna be a common theme for any team throughout the year. It's the turnover battle. Jayden Daniels last year only threw 9 interceptions, and he nearly had a 70% completion percentage. If the opportunity presents itself, and we know this Packers defense wants to manufacture turnovers, they want to lead the league in turnovers. That is a goal that Jeff Hafley always talks about. He talked about it last year. It's a theme again this year. One of the areas of focus is forced fumbles. They'd like to do more of that. But if the opportunity is there, a bad throw or the ball's on the ground, come away with that football. Try to manufacture those turnovers or try to create those turnovers. And then on the flip side, if you're the offense, don't turn the ball over. Taking care of the football, not giving this Commanders offense and Cliff Kingsbury as offensive coordinator any extra possessions. It's always going to be a key to win the turnover battle, regardless of the opponent you're going up against, right? I mean, that's always going to be always going to be the case here. But you look at this, and especially I look at it from a Commander's offense that, I mean, come on, it makes me a little bit nervous because of Jayden Daniels, because of the weapons he has. You have an offensive coordinator like Cliff Kingsbury, who, I mean, he can dial up some unique formations and such. I mean, he was talked about as a head coaching candidate last year, right? Because of the job that he did with Jayden Daniels and that team overall. So taking care of the football on the offensive side, but also trying to get the football, getting that football away from the Commanders if you're able to get any interceptions, any fumble recoveries, things like that. And then another key for me, establishing the running game. Getting Josh Jacobs going here. Now, to me, it'll be interesting to see how the Commanders' defense approaches this matchup. We heard, Josh Jacobs after that Lions game talk about, the Lions wanted to take away the running game and wanted to take away him. And so he told the receivers, take offense to that. Use that as motivation. Use that and make it hurt, really just use that as motivation. So I'm curious to see what Dan Quinn and the Commanders, when they look at that week 1 performance and they look at, spreading the football around in the passing game, what do the Commanders do? What's the approach from the defensive side of things? Because if they're going to go in and, still try to focus, every team's going to say, we got to stop the run. I mean, that's kind of like coach talk all the time. It's always a goal for every single team, and it's always a goal. It doesn't even matter who's like your running back. You're always going to hear a team say, we got to stop the run. We got to stop the run. That's the biggest key. And obviously, when you have a running back like Josh Jacobs, that is always going to be the key. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, how willing are the Commanders going to, I mean, how many guys are they going to throw in the box and dedicate to stopping the run with Josh Jacobs and essentially maybe leaving some guys on an island against those wide receivers. But regardless, I think you still have to, even if the Commanders try to really take away the run, you still have to have success running the football because in turn, if you have those backup offensive linemen in there, offensive linemen want to run block. That's what they want to do. They just want to get out and lay people out, clear some lanes. So if you want to help out your offensive line a little bit more and not always be in drop back or pass protection scenarios, have success running the football. It takes away some of that pressure from your offensive linemen in those pass blocking situations, but it also controls the clock. You can win the time of possession battle that way. Those are my top 5. I mean, there's other ones we can throw in there too. There's a lot, right? But those are the 5 that kind of stood out to me the most for keys to victory in this game. Offensive line protection, containing Jaden Daniels, getting quick pressure on Jaden Daniels, having success running the football, and winning the turnover battle. You know, it's one thing to prepare and pressure against a guy like Jared Goff like the Packers did this last week. It's completely different now going up against Jaden Daniels. Completely different. Because let's face it, sorry, Jared, Jaden's a little bit more athletic than you. Okay, I don't think we're breaking any news or anything like that. So I'm curious to see, and I know Micah Parsons said earlier in the week, don't change anything, nobody's beating me to the edge. We still got to be aggressive. We still got to go after him. So I'm curious to see, do they run similar blitz packages? Do they do something different because Jaden Daniels is more athletic? And I'm kind of fascinated to see what the game plan is for Jeff Hafley. When we talk about key matchups in this game, I look at 2 guys who may be head coaches in the near future. Cliff Kingsbury already has been a head coach, but again, if the Commanders have a successful season, especially on the offensive side, a team that has a younger quarterback is going to be interested in hiring Cliff Kingsbury as their head coach. That's just going to happen. He's probably going to get a second chance if he wants it. But you got Jeff Hafley on the other side too, who is getting talked more and more about as a potential head coaching candidate. And I think one of those key matchups is going to be those 2 calling the game against each other. Hafley's defense, Kingsbury's offense. The chess game, the moving pieces. How does Hafley dial up a pressure against a mobile quarterback? Is it a contained pressure? Are they still aggressive in going after him? Did they see something from last week where, they struggled a little bit with Sam Laporta? Now you got Zach Ertz. Do they do something different there? That to me is going to be one of the key matchups that, as a fan, I'm excited to watch because you have 2 younger coaches, 2 of the better coordinators right now in the league going toe-to-toe. And maybe 2 future head coaches. Of course, Kingsbury already being a head coach with the Cardinals. Maybe a little bit too early in his career, but neither here nor there. And I think, some other key matchups in this game is going to be those receivers, those pass catchers from the Commanders going up against the Packers secondary. It was a good test for the secondary last week, going up against Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Sam Laporta. But as we mentioned with Sam Laporta, had some success there. All right. We'll see if Nate Hobbs is going to be active tonight or not. Packers are very familiar with Deebo Samuel from his time with the 49ers. You got a Terry McLaurin in there. You got a Zach Ertz. How's that pass defense? Slow those guys down. Affect those guys. I think that's another key matchup too. And then, offensively, Matt LaFleur, I know Joe Witt Jr. is the defense coordinator for Maybe knows a little bit of the style, the system. I think this is an intriguing matchup when you look at from play caller standpoint on both of these sides. Which one's going to have the advantage? Which one's going to be ahead? Because Matt LaFleur, when he's a step ahead, and you could tell, there's games that you could tell when he's just a step ahead. That's when he's one of the best play callers in the league. He was a step ahead a couple years ago, Jordan Love's first year, when Dan Quinn was defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. That playoff game, we all know it. We all remember it. He was a step ahead. Okay. And I'm sure Dan Quinn remembers that game too. But can Matt LaFleur stay a step ahead again for that matchup? All right. I've got my two key players, one from each side of the ball. We got to take a quick break, and I'll make my picks coming up. Keep sending yours, though. All right. Text me, comment on the video stream. We'll be back after these quick words. Got to give a big shout out to our friends at Mike's Star Market. Yesterday was their 35th anniversary, 35 years in business for Mike over there. So a big congrats to him and the entire team for 35 years. Man, good stuff. Hopefully it keeps going on longer, Mike. Don't even think about retiring anytime soon. We've got the deer season coming up too. So remember, if you're looking somewhere to drop off that deer and get some processing done, head it on over. Take it on over to our good friends at Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire, the west side of Eau Claire, located at 2238 Heimstead Road in Eau Claire. Good point from Evan. I like this. Evan says Matt LaFleur's offenses have never put up less than 30 points against Dan Quinn going all the way back to Atlanta. I like that stat. I like that nugget. Thank you for sharing that, Evan. Good stuff. All right. So my key player for each side of the football, from each side. I like the Edrin Cooper picks. I think that's smart. I like the Quay Walker picks. I think that's smart too. There's no right or wrong answer in this thing. I'm going to go a little bit of a different route. I'm going to think a little bit outside the box here. Now, bear with me, okay? So, a lot of people who are picking Edrin Cooper and Quay Walker because of Jane Daniels and the spy and all that, and I completely agree. Completely agree. I'm going to go a little bit of a different route, kind of for the same reason here, though. Hear me out. Lucas Van Ness. I'm going to go Lucas Van Ness, specifically when he's lined up at that defensive tackle spot. The cheetah package or wherever. When he's lined up in the middle, if he can get that pressure up the middle, get Jaden Daniels off his mark. Because I'm going to assume Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary will have the edge covered then. I mean, I think Micah Parsons can run down Jaden Daniels. But if Lucas Van Ness, we talked about the quick pressure, generating a quicker pressure. If Lucas Van Ness can generate that quick pressure right away up the middle and get Jaden Daniels off his mark, off his read right away, I think that's just going to make it HE double hockey sticks for Jaden Daniels all day long. So I'm thinking a little bit outside the box here. I'm going to go Van Ness. But I completely agree with everybody else's picks about Cooper and Quay Walker. I'm just going to go a little bit of a different route. I'm going to make the case for Lucas Van Ness, specifically when he's lined up at that D tackle spot, getting that quick pressure up the middle and getting Jaden Daniels off his mark. Because I've got the trust in guys like Micah Parsons that if Jaden Daniels moves off his mark and tries to go to the edge, to the outside a little bit, Parsons is going to take care of business. Offensively, I mean, an easy one's going to be maybe a Jordan Morgan if he comes in as a starter. Maybe it's Kennard or Anthony Belton if they got to fill in for the starters. 100%. 100% correct. But I think I'm going to go with the majority of you that already chimed in here, and that's Josh Jacobs. I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs. And not only just like running the football too, but maybe even being a little bit more involved in the passing game. Pretty quiet last week. I mean, and it's not because of a lack of trying. Give Detroit credit; they were able to shut down that run game early on. But like a lot of you have already said, time of possession, just controlling the clock, getting him going. Yeah, I would agree with you. Let's get Josh Jacobs going here a little bit and control that tempo, control that clock, control that ground game. Because, I mean, if you're going to have success running the football, we know what that's going to do to the passing game. That play-action passing game, you're going to be able to hit some throws down the field. You're going to be able to have some opportunities at big plays. I want to get that play-action game going. And the best way, the easiest way to go about that is going to be having success running the football. So I'm going with the majority on my offensive guy. on the offensive guy like a lot of you. Going with Josh Jacobs. Defensively, I'm gonna go a little bit of a different route, but again, I completely agree with all of you. And since Evan mentioned, like the Matt LaFleur offense going up against Dan Quinn's defenses and such, I went back to that Packers Cowboys playoff game where Jordan Love's first playoff game in that. And Jordan Love was awesome, right? He threw for 272 yards and 3 touchdowns. But you know who else was awesome? And he was like awesome all the time against the Cowboys. But Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones ran the ball for 118 yards and had 3 touchdowns. He had success running the football. And I think that's going to be key here too, opening that up for Jordan Love if you can get that running game going with Josh Jacobs. I mean, we could go throughout the list. There's going to be key players up and down this thing, right? They're going to be all over. You can make cases for everybody. There's no right or wrong answer in this. But those are the two that kind of stuck out to me. How about some predictions? Who do you got for some predictions here? All right. You got a majority right now are going with the Packers, which I'm not too surprised about. But give me a score too. Give me a bold prediction. Give me like a bold stat line. Like Josh Jacobs is going to have 3 tuds tonight. That's a bold prediction. Jordan Love's going to go for over 304 tuds. That's a bold prediction. Micah Parsons is going to have 3 sacks tonight. If somebody gets their bold prediction right, you got nothing to lose to make a bold prediction. If somebody gets their bold prediction right, I'll send you a little bit of a prize pack. All right. So send me a bold prediction that you have for this game. And it can't be just something simple as a game score, okay? I gave you a couple of examples. That's what I'm looking for. Those type of bold predictions. Think big. Okay? You can steal one of mine that I just gave you. I'll throw in a little prize pack that's got some t-shirts and some other swag in there too. So send those on over. I want to hear what you got. Xavier McKinney will have a pick 6 in the third quarter, C-Bomb says. There you go. Lay it on the line right there. I like it. That's a bold one. Eli, Matthew Golden, 100-plus yards and a touchdown. All right, I like it. Rookie in his second game of his career is going to go 100 yards and get his first career touchdown. I like it. I'll keep all these. Keep them coming. All right? Keep sending those puppies on over. Zach on our video streams got 2 tuds for Golden. I like it. Zach also says Jordan Love needs to take care of the ball. Josh Jacobs is my key player in offense. Defensively, I think Wyatt needs to have a huge game. I like it, Zach. Thanks for chiming in on the video stream. 2 tuds for the rookie Golden. Evan says Van Ness, Gary, and Parsons each get 2 sacks. Boom. That is bold, and I love it. Eli says Javon Bullard is my player to watch on defense. I think he's going to stick a hit to Daniels to set the tone early. Tim in the Cooley region, Tucker Kraft has 2 tush pushes for first downs. That I love. That's thinking outside the box. I love it. Keep them coming, people. Keep them coming. I'm going to save all these. We'll see if anybody gets one right. Got a couple more hours. Send those babies on over. We got to take a quick break, and then we're going to wrap up the first hour. Keep those coming. I want to read off some more. Give me those bold predictions, people. I love it. Chime in on the video stream. Join Zach over there or hit us up with a text.
a call at 715-830-1912 to let your sports opinions be heard on The Dan Kasper Show.
Coming up next Sunday, September 21st, we're going to be over at our good friends, the VFW Post at 305 for our first ever Packtoberfest. We're combining Oktoberfest into a little Green Bay tailgate party. The fun starts at 9. VFW Post 305 is going to have their breakfast buffet going on. We're going to have some brats from Mike's Star Market. Big shout out to our friends from Mike's Star Market, one of our partners for this. And then we're going to be doing a special Green Bay pregame show from 10 to 11 that day. So you can stop by, hang out with us. You can tune in on the radio dials or online to listen before Green Bay takes on Cleveland at noon that day. Plus giveaways, contests, and all that fun stuff as well. And one person who's going to be joining me that day and on the program is going to be C-Bomb. Good morning, C-Bomb. How you doing, bud?
Good morning, Al Capitano. Happy game day, my brother.
Happy game day. Where the heck are you right now? You in like the bathroom or something? Where are you at?
I am. I'll tell you what. I got a Tesla now, for crying out loud, and the Bluetooth in this thing stinks.
I was going to say, it sounded like you were in like a chamber, the echo in that. Holy moly.
Sorry about that, my brother. I'm
You're
a little
good.
fired up. It's game day. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a good test. I think we're going to dominate. It's a whiteout Thursday. Why do they do this so early in the season is my question.
That grinds my gears. I don't understand why they do that, dude. I don't get it. I mean, last year it was the Texans game, and I was at that one, and I was sweating bullets the whole time. I mean, I'm glad it was white there, but it just didn't make any sense with a winter warning or whatever marketing thing they got going on with that. So.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I think the uniforms look great, but the winter whiteout in September just doesn't cut it for me.
Nope, I totally agree, man. I totally agree. You got your green and gold undies on for game day today?
Well, you're making an assumption that I'm wearing undies, Dan.
That's a good point. That's a good point. How do you see
I'll
this
tell
one
you
going?
what. You're darn right I do, and I am jacked up. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game, and I'm so pumped up. I don't know if the rest of Packer Nation is feeling it, and it's not just because of that domination against Detroit. I think this is the most fired up I've been about a defense since '96, and I remember being fired up in '96.
Mm-hmm.
We've got, and it's not just Micah Parsons. We've got Pro Bowlers at every level of this defense. We've got an aggressive defensive coordinator in Halfley, and I'm just fired up to see what they do tonight. It's the first time I think I'm more fired up for our defense than I am the offensive side of the ball.
I know, man. I was talking to Rob Domofsky the other day, and I asked him, like, can you, because he's been covering the Packers since '97, and I said, can you remember another time another player has gotten so much, embraced or so much excitement, from the fans and the teammates? And he's like, no, especially from the teammate side. And I think that says a lot, just the impact that parts of it. And I love everything he's been saying too, like, talking about Lucas Van Ness and how much this is going to be his best year, drafting Edrin Cooper in his fantasy football league too. I mean, this dude's embracing Green Bay, man.
He is. He embraced it quick, and I love it. And I think he's also made the comment too about people getting paid, and he wants he knows he got paid, and he wants to prove that he's worth it. So I don't think he's going to be one of those guys that gets the hefty bank account and sits down. I think he's gonna keep busting. And I'm all here for it, my brother.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Evan's got a good point. They do white out early in the season because no one owns white Carhartt jackets and bibs. That's a good point.
This is a good point. This is a great point. Yeah. How do you argue with that? Very good point.
Hey, by the way, our good buddy Mark says Packtoberfest. If C-Bomb is going to be there, I'll have to wear my best Packer attire. So there you go. You're going to be on the program with me that day, right?
You're darn tootin'. I will be there 9 to noon, right?
Yep, exactly. Show will be from 10 to 11 for our little pregame show. So that'll be fun.
Perfect.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yep. Nope. I plan to be there the whole time, 10 to 11. That sounds great. I'm fired up. I'm looking forward to it. My prediction, I just wanted to drop a prediction on my game score today. I think it's going to be Green Bay 27, Washington 17. I think the big key, you talked about keys to victory. One guy we really have to shut down, I think we have to watch because is going to be Deebo Samuel. They're going to use him as a gadget player. They really don't McLaren hasn't Terry McLaurin hasn't been great yet last week. I don't see that he's going to be great this week because I don't see Daniels having enough time to get it downfield to him. He likes, last year he had a lot of big plays. That's how he really thrived. And I think I don't think Daniels is going to have time for those big shot plays, but I think they're going to try and use Debo. They used him quite a bit last week, so we got to shut his rear end down.
I like it. I like it. All right, dude. Hey, really quick, I got a minute left. Concern level from the Brewers right now with just 15 games left to go.
Oh, it's starting to creep in a little bit, and I felt it during that 14-game winning streak. It's like, are we peaking way too early? Because they were just coming back from any amount down. They were just on fire, and now they're kind of hitting a lull. But if they're gonna hit a low, it's time to hit it now, get it out of the way before October comes. So there is a little concern creeping in, but I think there's time for them to get it back on the right track and get going. And Texas had a lot to play for. The Brewers have kind of, I don't want to say they've gone into coast mode, but they know they're going to be getting in. Hopefully they can get a fire under their rear ends.
I agree. All right, C-Bomb. Looking forward to your thoughts after hopefully a win tonight, tomorrow morning. Okay, buddy. Have a good day and enjoy the game tonight.
You bet. You too, El Capitano, and just don't go 4 fingers deep on that victory scotch tonight.
I'll try not to.
Have a good one, brother.
All right, you too. There you go. C-Bomb hopping off on the phone here this morning. Good stuff as always. From C-Bomb. Send me those bold predictions, baby. They were coming in hot and heavy, and I want them to continue to come in hot and heavy. Give me a great bold prediction, and if anybody does get it right, I'm going to send you a prize pack full of some swag and stuff. You can text it on over, or you can hit me up on the video streams on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram with some bold predictions. One in. Couple more to go here. Flying on through on this game day, on this Thursday game day. We got some news updates, and we'll be back after these quick words. All right, second hour kicking off right now on this football Thursday. Coming up, we'll chat with Jake Boakes next hour. Get your questions on in for the upcoming deer season, bow season opening up this week. So if you got any questions, text those on over to us right now at 715-830-1912. Or you can comment on the video streams too if you'd rather do that. Also, might have a special guest coming up in the 9 o'clock hour too. So stay tuned for that. Just waiting for a confirm on that. So that'll be coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Taking your picks for tonight's game. Send those on over between the Packers and the Commanders. Majority of you picking the Packers for the game tonight. And we're taking your bold predictions. A lot of you with some really good bold predictions. I like it. So keep those coming. Again, if you get your bold prediction correct, we'll send you a prize pack. So we got nothing to lose. All right. We're looking for bold ones. Like, again, I'll go through some of them here just to kind of give you an idea. Evans got Van Ness, Gary, and Parsons each getting 2 sacks. We've got Tim in the Cooley region saying Tucker Kraft has two tush pushes for first downs. Got Eli, Matthew Golden, 100-plus yards and a touchdown. Zach on the video stream had 2 tuds for the rookie Golden. That's what we're talking about when it comes to bold predictions. So continue to send those over at 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. So plenty more Packers chats throughout the morning. We'll get back to a little bit more green and gold chats coming up here in just a little bit because we're going to be starting something new on Thursdays as well. Little Wisconsin, as we're going to call it, the Sconnie Throwback. Something that happened on this day in Wisconsin sports history. So we're going to be doing that coming up here in just a little bit. But switching gears here just for this segment, the Brewers yesterday falling to the Texas Rangers, getting swept by the Rangers, a Rangers team that is trying to get back in that wild card chase. Just a game out from a wild card spot. It's the first time the Brewers have been swept in a 3-game series since the opening series against the Yankees. So it has been a hot minute since the Brewers have been swept, but things are starting to get a little bit tighter, in the National League playoff race. Right now, if you're kind of looking at it from a league perspective for the Brewers, still holding on to that number 1 spot in the National League, but it's gotten tighter. The Phillies are just 2.5 games back from the Brewers for that top spot and home field throughout the playoffs. But the Brewers do hold the tiebreaker against the Phillies, so that does come into play. Division-wise, the Brewers are up 5.5 over the Cubbies, but as we know, the Cubbies hold the tiebreaker against the Brewers, so it's essentially like a 4.5 game lead right now. 15 games left to go in the regular season for the Brewers. It's an off day today for the Brewers before they get set for a weekend series against the St. Louis Cardinals. And when you look at, the rest of these races here, it's going to get tight. Just in the National League, Brewers sitting there 89, still trying to be the first team to 90 wins, 89-58. Phillies, of course, leading their division. The Dodgers leading their division. Cubs at the top wild card spot. Padres second. Mets, but it's getting tighter there. The Reds have now moved to just 2 games from the Mets for that final wild card spot. The Giants also just 2 games from that wild card spot. Diamondbacks are 3.5 back. Cardinals 4.5 back. So not that far out of it from the American League side of things. Tigers, Toronto, Houston still on top. The Tigers holding on to the slightest advantages for the top overall spot in the American League because they have 1 more win than Toronto, same amount of losses. Yankees, Red Sox, Seattle, all in wild card spots. Texas, 1.5 games out. Texas is like, can't we catch a break? We just swept the Brewers. They began that series with the Brewers 1.5 back out from a wild card spot, and they didn't make up any ground because the Mariners are currently on a 5-game winning streak too. So Cleveland 3.5 out. Kansas City's 4 out. Tampa Bay is 5.5 out. And when you look at the upcoming schedules here, as we know, the Brewers, if you're going to be doing a little bit of scoreboard watching here, the Brewers, as we said, take on the Cardinals. The Cubbies will begin a series with those Tampa Bay Rays starting tomorrow. So Tampa Bay wants to try to get back in it. That's going to be a huge series for them to try to get back into that wild card chase. So let me ask you, Brewers fans, what's your concern level right now? Where are you at with this Brewers team? Are you starting to get a little bit nervous with the trend that we're seeing? Do you just kind of chalk up? Do you chalk up this series as it's a team like the Rangers who are, maybe in a little bit of playoff mode, trying to get back into the postseason? So maybe you kind of give them a little bit of a leeway there. Where are you at? All right, let me know really quick. Pete says rushing touchdown for Jaden Reed for his bold prediction. And Paul says, love the Pack, but my bold prediction would be that they actually lose tonight, 34-17. So keep those coming. But how concerned are you, Brewers fans? Intern, how concerned are you for the Brewers right now?
My main concern is for the young guys, the Durbins and the Collins and the young rookies. This is a long season for those guys, and I don't want, I keep thinking back. I've been around long enough. I think of the 69 Cubs, and they had it won, and then they lost it. I don't think the Brewers are going to fall that way, but because the Cubs team was a veteran team. This is a team that's got a lot of young guys that have contributed a lot, including on the mound and in the field. So my concern, if you call it a concern, and I think they're still going to win this thing, are those guys, can they get to the finish line? That's my main concern, the young guys, and I think they will.
Gotta turn my mic on. I was doing an intern move there. So, are you concerned? Like C-Bomb called in a little bit earlier in the first hour and was concerned that they were peaking during that win streak, and I think that kind of crossed everybody's mind at that point, right?
Well,
a little bit. I
obviously.
mean,
Obviously they peaked during the win streak. I mean, that without saying.
but it's
You
at the
knew
same
they
time
weren't
as,
gonna continue that through the rest of the year.
and it's at the same time too. It's like everybody says, well, what do you want them to do? You want them to lose?
Well, yeah,
It's
exactly,
like,
yeah.
I don't know. You can't really manage that. That's something you just can't manage. You can't okay, let's lose on purpose here so we don't get big egos. Well, that's dumb.
No, you explained it all with Texas. They're in the fight. They're not going to roll over.
Mm-hmm.
They're not playing, Colorado. Colorado's going no place.
Mm-hmm.
Texas has still got a shot at it. They've still got guys on that roster that know what it is to win a World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And so they weren't going to roll over. And the Brewers have to get in that same mode. They have been in it all year. I'm not going to panic over this Texas situation, losing 3 games. I like to have seen them win 1 or 2 or even the whole series. It didn't happen. But I'm not going to jump off a 10-story building because it didn't. I'm just going to keep an eye on these younger guys, and including some of the younger arms, and hopefully they can, right the ship. It's not like they've got to go on another 10 or 12 game winning streak to win this thing. All they got to do is play good baseball.
Yeah, and I know, and we were talking a little bit earlier this week because, all they had to go was 11-7 to hit a 100-win mark, and I don't think that's a goal for them. It's a nice, cool, round number for us fans to say they hit 100 wins, and that I just want them to win a division, try to get that top spot so you have home field throughout, and just ride going into the playoffs playing really good baseball and not limping into the postseason. Those are my main 3 things I want.
I agree with you. I want them to go into the playoffs strong, and I want them to win the World Series. That's, I don't want them to win 1 series and say, oh, they had a good year with all these young players. No, you don't work this hard to get this far at this point in the season to have goals that are less than winning it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So I just, I'm not trying to push away this series. It was a good team. Texas is a good team. They've got a manager that's won multiple World Series titles. He kind of knows what he's doing, right? So it was a tough series.
He's a heck of a manager.
Yeah, it was a tough series. Let's bounce back now and get this one against the Cardinals. We still control our destiny. Brewers still control everything in front of them. They're not chasing anybody. They're not having to count on anybody to lose games. They still control their destiny.
And they're going to have fan support at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're going to get a lot of support at home. That always helps you. I don't know how many percent you put on that, but it's going to be a help. You know, they were in Texas and they were pretty much alone down there. There weren't a lot of Brewer fans in the stands down in Texas, but they come home and there'll be a few Cardinal fans. But I think Cardinal fans, for the most part, have pretty much, I won't say given up, but have lost a lot of hope as far as where this team might finish. I mean, for them to make it to the playoffs would be, I don't know, using the word miracle too strong, but it's a real long shot.
And I think, the one thing that if I did have to pick something that, I don't know if concern is the right word or from this series was, I mean, there were a couple times Brewers did jump out to leads early and they just didn't hold on to those leads. Like yesterday, back-to-back home runs to begin the game. You got a 2-0 lead, you lose the lead. The day before, you're up 3-1, you lose the lead. That's maybe the one thing I would point out from this series if I had to pick something that, again, concerned or frustrated me or anything like it, is like, I mean, obviously that can't happen in the postseason and such, but holding on to those leads and making sure you're coming away with those W's.
And I don't know how intensely they scouted Texas. You know, they have advanced scouts that go ahead all the time and scout these guys. I don't know what their advanced scouts were because they just gave up too many home runs. The Brewers hit home runs, but Texas hit home runs with guys on base.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes a difference.
Yep, sure does. So, again, as we mentioned, Brewers off day today. They'll return home tomorrow to take on the Cardinals to try to get to 90 wins, the first team in the majors to get to 90 wins. It is getting a little bit closer with the Phillies inching up there. I mean, they've just been taking it to the Mets here.
The Mets have lost, 5 in a row or
Yeah,
something like that?
yeah.
They've been, and, that's why, should the Brewer fans be concerned more than Mets fans? You look at the guy, Juan Soto and Pete Alonso. I mean, those guys are getting paid some pretty big dollars, $700 million for Soto. And you've got a team that he's on that's losing games at this time of the year. I'm sorry, they've got Lindor at short. They've got some pretty high-priced players to be doing this. The Brewers don't have that same thing. And so I'd be more concerned if I was a Mets fan than a Brewers fan.
Yeah, and if anything, too, with this upcoming schedule here for the Brewers, because they just have 5 more series left to go, 15 games here, what that's allowed is to, I mean, with the Mets losing here, the Reds are now just 2 games back. Brewers got to play the Reds yet. Padres, they're in the wild card hunt right now. They got to play the Padres in this thing, too. So, I mean, if anything, it's maybe kind of forcing the Brewers like, we've got some big-time series coming up here. Cardinals twice, but that last week of the season at the Padres and then home against the Reds, that could be a huge series in terms of playoff implications. So,
oh, no question about it. It's not over yet.
No, I mean, you'd hope this kind of this after this Ranger series, you have 3 against the Cardinals at home, 3 against the Angels at home. I would hope you could win those series, at least take 2 out of 3 in each of those.
Mm-hmm.
You go on the road to the Cardinals. You're on the road to the Padres for a quick West Coast trip. Then you're back home against the Reds. But September 22nd through the 28th, you've got 6 games, 3 against the Padres, 3 against the Reds. That could be a big week in terms of where things stand. So
there's no question about it. And of course, by that time, Mets might turn it around and eliminate the Reds. So the Reds might not have anything to play for the last 3 games. The Padres might be locked in to a wild card by then. They can't catch the Dodgers maybe. So until we get to those series, they're going to be important. But I think the level of importance remains to be seen at this point.
Yep. All right, before we take a quick break, we've got Surveyor chiming in with a bunch of bold predictions. Game day, boy, woo, give me the Packers 27, Commanders 17, 4 sacks, 2 by Van Ness, 2 by Gary, 1 pick, Josh Jacobs, 130 yards and a touchdown. Jordan Love, 250 passing yards, 2 tuds, 1 to Golden and 1 to Wicks. Book it. So,
I don't think there's been a player in a long time that Packer fans have hoped would get better than Lucas Van Ness. I've been listening to these forecasts or predictions, whatever. Lucas Van Ness, 2 sacks. Lucas Van Ness, a sack. This and I mean, people are just, and I'm one of them. I'm hoping he does too. But of a player that they hope I turns it around, gets better, however you want to say it, but starts performing like a first round draft choice. I don't think there's been a player. We've had other first round draft choices, so we just said they're no good. But Lucas Van Ness has not set the world on fire as a first round draft choice, but I think more than any first round draft choice we've had in the near past has been hoped for by fans to improve and become a star than Lucas Van Ness. You agree with that?
I'd have to go back and think about it, but I mean, at least right now, I was talking to Rob Demoski about this with Lucas Van Ness, and his snap counts are going to be limited in that, but I almost feel like that's going to be a benefit to him this year because of, and he agreed too, just the impact and moving him around a little, like it maybe takes a little bit of that extra pressure off from him this year. And Micah Parsons has been singing the praises of Lucas Van Ness and even saying, I'm going to make sure he has his best year this year. So we'll see.
And
Remains to be
I
seen.
hope so, because, he's seems like a kid that works hard and wants to.
Mhm.
It's just that he's got to start doing it.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's been because of lack of snaps, out of position, whatever it is, but hopefully it all comes together.
Mhm. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll have more green and gold talk. Send me your bold predictions, people. Get some good ones in. Again, if you get it right, look at Surveyor. He gave me like 10 of them, so you can try to win that prize back there. Increase the odds there. Text them on over, or you can comment on the YouTube stream as well. Quick break, and we'll do our new segment, a little Sconnie Throwback Thursday. See if you guys and gals remember what happened on this day back in 1999. We'll tell you then. We'll tell you coming up next. If you're looking to upgrade your flooring game, whether it's in the living room, the kitchen, the bedroom, or the man cave, look no further than Wisconsin's premier flooring store. That's our good friends at Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. You can check out their website, carpetcitywi.com, but I say you should stop by and visit the friendly folks at Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire, located at 3109 East Hamilton Avenue in Eau Claire. And if you're not quite sure what style would look the best or work the best in your space, their team can help you out with that because, well, they've done it here at our studios, done it at my place, all across the board. It's just a fantastic team over there. So go visit our good friends, Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire today. Again, that address, 3109 East Hamilton Avenue in Eau Claire. All right, it's our Sconnie Throwback Thursday. I'm glad I double-checked the date on this because I remember watching this, and I'm like, I felt like I was younger than 13 years old. And I was, because I was 9. The actual year was 1995, not 1999. But I remember watching this on my little, probably 11, 12, 13-inch black and white TV in my room in good old Medford. Probably staying up too late than I was supposed to. It was a Monday night football game. Packers, Bears. 99-yard touchdown pass from Brett Favre to Robert Brooks, tying the NFL record for the longest passing touchdown in NFL history, because you really can't break it 99 yards at that. But I remember watching that as a kid, and I knew I was younger. So I was 9 at that time when that happened. Probably staying up way too late just to watch a Packer game on a Monday night, because who cared about school the next day, right? Packers were on. So, but yeah, Packers did win that one, 27-24. Again, that happened on September 11th, 1995. So, also we know 9/11 too. Can you believe it's been 24 years? 24 years.
I was here in the building when it happened, and we remember we went into the newsroom where we had TVs at that time, and we were watching at about, I don't know, 9:30, something like that, because all of a sudden we heard about it, and we were watching, and I thought they were showing a replay, and come to behold, it was live, the other plane slamming into the second tower. Because when it hit the second tower, we all looked at it and said, well, that's not a replay. That's live. I mean, it was, you just shook in your boots thinking, what's going on in this country, on our soil? It was something.
Yeah, I remember exactly how I found out. It was right after our first period. Coach Wilson's class I was in, I think it was conservation class or whatever, and going to my sports marketing classes when we all found out. And all the teachers turned the TVs on or brought TVs in. Lunch, TV was on in the cafeteria. Every classroom had TVs on during that day. I was a sophomore in high school. Yeah, sophomore.
Yeah, so that was I mean, that day, 1963, there are a few days that in my mind just really stand out.
And with tonight's game too, Washington and Green Bay, if you remember, the first Monday night game after that was Washington, Green Bay at Lambeau Field too. Remember, was it Chris Gizzy, I think, was the Packers linebacker that ran out of the tunnel with the American flag after that too. So sure, that's why they probably scheduled this game, if you kind of think about it a little bit, with that in mind there too. So, but yeah, that was, I mean, obviously I wasn't around in 63, so this is probably one of the ones that sticks in my mind.
Oh yeah,
the most. So, but hard to believe it's 24. And I actually was in a year before that. Yeah, it would have been 2000.
Yeah.
I was in New York, and I got to see the Twin Towers, and I still have my old 3x5 disposable camera pictures of them too. So.
Yeah, and it's interesting how every generation has that, generation before me, December 7th, Pearl Harbor, and then 1963 and 2001. I mean, there are a lot of major events that happen, but some are standing out more than others.
Yeah, no question. So a couple of comments. Zach on our YouTube stream says, I'll get on that train. Having Parsons on the field now really opens up these other players that may not have had a lot of opportunities or as many looks like Van Ness. He should have a big year. Should, and hopefully will have a big year.
Now,
on
that's
that
what I
too.
say. Everybody seems to want. There's nobody that doesn't like this kid.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's hoping he's a success. The only thing I hope with Parsons is that the guys that are on the field with him at the time don't get caught up in watching him. He's going to make things happen differently than other linebackers we've had in the past few years or other people in a rush position in the past few years. But you can't get caught up in watching him. If you're watching him, you see, now what effect has he got? So what does that mean for my job? Do I stand out here and let him chase the quarterback to me? I don't want to get behind him and let the quarterback get away. So, it's going to take some adapting by the guys on the defense with him to learn how he plays and what effect he's going to have on the opposing offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we got to see that in game one. I mean, the Evan Williams interception, I think, was a direct reflection of Micah Parsons able to get that pressure,
Mhm.
instantly and such. But I think it just ups the level of everybody else. The game that he brings. You better bring your A game, and you better bring that. You better level up yourself when they're out there too. And I think we got that glimpse in week one. So
Yeah, and I think watching week one, Monday night, the Vikings and the Bears, what did the Vikings do in the second half that they do in the first half? They got after Caleb Williams, and he was off his game because they put so much pressure on him. And if Micah Parsons can do that to the opposing quarterback, that's why, the Packers defense the past few years and some of these younger quarterbacks are giving up crazy numbers. You don't put pressure on a quarterback in the NFL, he's going to eat you up.
mm-hmm.
And the Vikings and the Bear game really showed that
Mm-hmm.
from first half to second half.
Yep. Yep. Totally agree. So, looking for not only your game predictions, but some bold predictions, and then give me who you think are key players in this matchup. One from the offensive side, one from the defensive side. A lot of people picking Josh Jacobs on the offensive side. It's a mixture between Cooper, Walker, Parsons, a few different options. Devontae Wyatt has been mentioned a couple times on here. Lucas Van Ness has been mentioned a couple times as a key defensive player, but offensively, it sure looks like it's a lot of Josh Jacobs and also whoever fills in for the starting tackles that may not, or starting offensive linemen that may not be playing in tonight's game. And again, just as a reminder, from the injury report, Zach Tom, excuse me, Aaron Banks, all listed as questionable. Remember, there is no probable designations anymore. So and Matt LaFleur did say the other day that they were going to give them up to game time to decide whether they're going to be able to go or not. So, but at least it doesn't seem like it's a long-term concern. The thing that I think that's frustrating with the Zach Tom one, it was that injury happened on the pick six that was called back, and when Jordan Love got annihilated by Aiden Hutchinson and got knocked into Zach Tom, and then Hutchinson got a penalty on that play, but that might have knocked out the right tackle for at least a game here too. That's what stinks about that. It wasn't even, a football play. It was friendly fire after that. So that's what sucks about that one. Not sure what happened with Aaron Banks or what happened at during that game and such. So, but I mean, the depth will be tested if both of them are out. That's for sure. So. All right, let's take another quick break here. We'll have more. Keep those thoughts going. We got more texts to catch up on and more comments to catch up on here as well. So stick around. We'll be back after these few words. your vehicle is in need of an oil change, or maybe it's time to get some new tires, especially with the winter season coming up here, no better place to go than our good friends at AJM Automotive. I mean, I just got my oil changed at AJM Automotive and get new tires today from AJM Automotive to get set for the winter season. Make your appointment today by giving them a shout at 715-835-9523. Located at 1919 Brackett Avenue in Eau Claire. Maybe you need some engine work done. Heck, they do small engine stuff too. They got my snowblower ready to go last year, tuned up in case all that snow was coming and such. So they can help you out over there as well. Plus towing services, and they're going to be doing some snow plowing services too. So they can do it all at AJM Automotive in Eau Claire. Key players from Surveyor Sam for today, or for tonight's game, excuse me. Quay spying on Jaden Daniels and Jordan Love controlling the tempo and facilitating the ball properly. That's some fancy language from Surveyor Sam over there. So continue to send us your key players and your keys to victory. Who are some key players for you, intern, for tonight's game?
I agree. I think Quay Walker has to keep Jaden Daniels in the box, not let him get away, and hopefully he can do that. But again, maybe not players, but as a group, I think that offensive line is going to have a lot to say with how good this team does tonight, how well this team does tonight. Josh Jacobs, can he run? I just think you cannot be a one-dimensional team. I think the offensive line is going to play a big part in that. How strong they might be numbers-wise is another question.
It's a heck of an opportunity for Green Bay here after that big win against Detroit last week, and now they're going up against another playoff caliber team within their conference. If they can jump out to this season to go 2-0 with a win against a division foe and another conference opponent, that's a huge start to the season. I know it's the beginning part of the season, but you're talking about having an early advantage. I mean, I think it was you talking about, with those Brewers games earlier on in the season, winning those games and such and having that cushion. I mean, this is a heck of a chance for Green Bay to really, set a tone, but get out to an early lead in a lot of different areas when it comes to potential playoff time.
Because as the season goes along, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to get healthier. You get your offensive line back, and then maybe somebody on the defensive line or two guys go down. So you got to win early here, and hopefully they can do that tonight.
And taking advantage that these are home games at Lambeau Field, and that I saw Edrin Cooper posted last night, and I'm glad to hear this stuff too, because it sure looked like there was a lot of Lions fans in attendance, and in the last couple of years they've give them credit. They've done a good job of infiltrating Lambeau Field with that blue in there. And you're like, okay, how loud is it going to be? But apparently it was incredibly loud. Edrin Cooper last night posted up on social media, need Lambeau Field loud again. But first, let us break the huddle with the call. Last time it was very hard to hear. LOL, go Pack, go. It's a good problem to have.
Absolutely.
But so that's a credit to the fans who were there, even though it looked like there were a lot of Lions fans. So.
Yeah, and we seem to see that all the time, whether it be down at AmFam Field with Cubs fans, and I'm sure there'll be a pretty strong contingent of Cardinal fans, not near the number of Cubs fans, but there'll be the red jerseys in the stadium.
I know, Packers fans over the years have kind of complained about ticket prices and such, but I mean, what does that kind of tell you if a lot of visiting fans are coming in and buying up those tickets? Are we complaining too much about ticket prices if other opposing fans are able to come in and buy them up and such? Or
well, you look at the income for people in Washington, the income is a lot higher than what we have in Wisconsin. Are ticket prices too high? Absolutely, they're too high. But it's a business, and everything they do revolves around making more money. I don't care what sport it is, baseball, basketball, hockey, football. They didn't make Titletown in Green Bay just as a PR deal. They made it because they can make money. And that's what every good business does. They make business decisions based on increasing revenue, better spot in the financial world. It's just the way it is. It seems like sports is going up at a higher rate than other things. I mean, you look at some of these ticket prices now, and I've talked to people that have been forced because of financial situations to give up their season tickets, because you're buying the ticket is one thing. Buying the seat license is another. Ever since Al Davis put that in, and it became the trend and just the way of doing business for the NFL, that's hurt a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's us fans that consume it though too. So we're kind of we're to blame on that, right?
You want to go, you got to pay the price.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, we were talking about it the other day too. That's where you're seeing a lot of these stadiums. Chicago, for instance, you bring up Titletown District, and that's the new thing. That's the wave. That's what everybody wants. Chicago, that's what they want, the area surrounding a stadium, so they can build up, those areas. That's kind of the talk with Kansas City right now, with where they're going to move. If the Chiefs stay at Arrowhead, then maybe they can use the old Royal Stadium if the Royals move and such. These teams and these stadiums, they want that surrounding area to build up these areas for that extra income. It's just the name of the game right now.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you don't have Wrigley Field is a relic. I mean, where that is in that neighborhood, you have nothing with it. Well, even AmFam Field, there's nothing around that outside of a parking lot.
Yeah, and they're talking about wanting to do something, but we'll see if that ever happens. I mean, then it might sacrifice. Where? Yeah, you might have sacrificed the tailgating part of it with that, which Wisconsin fans, I don't know how they'd feel about that.
Well, I mean, any fan base, you look at, where you go in the country, what they call the Florida-Georgia football game, America's largest cocktail party. There's a reason for that. You can't take some things away from the fans all under the guise of making money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they charge for parking, it costs $20 or whatever to park at a Brewers game. And there are thousands of cars there. Granted, it's when the Brewers are out of town, you're not making any money on parking. That if you had some businesses in there, they could make some money even though the team is out of town. I understand it's a two-edged sword, but how long are they going to go before they show appreciation for the fans? They say, well, Titletown is for the fans. Yeah, it's fun. The kids sliding down a hill or whatever it is. But let's face it, it's a moneymaker. They wouldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'll be curious to see how many Washington. I don't think it'll be as bad as like Detroit's.
I don't think so either.
Getting in there too, and that's where give credit to Lions fans for making the pilgrimage across Lake Michigan to come over and watch.
Although as the teams, depending on the quality of the team, 5-10 years ago, I wouldn't have said there'd been 500 Washington fans there.
Mm-hmm.
But tonight, this team is pretty good. Expected to do a lot. They did a lot last year. They got a lot farther than people thought. I would imagine there'll be a pretty good contingent from Washington there tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that kind of correlates to when when Detroit started to get more heavy presence in Green Bay, because Detroit started to play better and started to be a really good team. Good teams, their fan bases will show up and travel for an opportunity to see them. I mean, I guarantee you there's probably some Commanders fans in the state of Wisconsin, for crying out loud. I mean, the odds are that's going to be so.
But the thing is, teams like Green Bay, Pittsburgh, a few others,
Dallas even.
Their fans are going to travel no matter what the quality of their team. Yeah. They always have. It's some of these, I don't know, for lack of a better term, these Johnny-come-lately fans that are on the good times bandwagon with their team.
Bandwagon ones, yeah. I mean, I remember
a lot of them.
I remember as a kid growing up, whoever the starter winter jackets, a lot of them who were really good teams at that point. That's what the kids were wearing, right?
Yeah,
and that's who they were fans of. Is like, that's what it was.
How many Oakland Raider jackets did you see at that time? All over the place.
Maybe not for me, maybe more for you, but mine was like Cowboys because it was the 90s.
Cowboys,
Bulls because of Jordan and that. Orlando, me, Shaq and Benny and that. So
but
49ers.
You were in the minority with the Oakland jacket.
I did not have an Oakland jacket.
I mean, with the Orlando jacket.
that and the Hornets just because they looked cool. That was a popular one. Shaq and Penny were popular. Not a lot of Bucks ones in the 90s when I was growing up. So, Evan says people want Lambeau to be a bucket list destination, the prized stadium to visit in the NFL, and then Packers fans get mad when they travel here. I think it's more the season. I think it's a season ticket holder issue where season ticket holders are selling tickets instead of going to games. I think probably the issue is season ticket holders that maybe only go to one game and then selling off all their other ones. I think that's probably the issue. Yeah, when there's a huge waiting list. I think that's probably the big issue that people have with that.
Well, they were going to do something about that. They talked about that a few years ago. They're going to track how many season ticket holders are using your tickets, and if you're not using them, we're going to pull them. But I don't know whatever has come of that. Whether that was just a threat, they were blowing smoke. If they ever did pull any season tickets, it never got much traction.
I remember something like that too. Yeah, this was the Packers. This was from earlier this year. The Packers announced they are enforcing their non-renewal exercise, a policy aimed at making sure season tickets are used as intended and not to make profit. This is again back in February. Starting today, the organization is declining to renew season tickets for accounts that have sold 100% of their regular season tickets for multiple years. Yeah, I don't know how they could track unless they are tracking that based off of when they do the resales on like Ticketmaster and such. I mean, I don't think you can really track it if Jimmy John has, his tickets and, hey, Bob, you want them? Here you go. I'll just transfer them to you. I don't know how they can.
I don't know either. I know there are a lot of buyers that over the years have accumulated 20, 30, 40 season tickets, and every week they give them to different patrons of their bar, but still they're using them. So I don't know how they would designate who's violating season tickets.
Well, I don't know if they still do it because I don't pay attention, but remember a while ago, the Vikings problem that they were having, that too many Packers fans were going over there. So there was like, okay, you're going to do that, then you got to buy a preseason game to go over there. Remember that? I don't know if they still do it, but I remember that. I think I was one of the last ones that was able to get a ticket and not have to, because that was when Favre broke the touchdown record. And I remember just buying a ticket for cheap before. It was like in the off season, but now it's like, now you got to get a pre. I don't know if they still do that, but I remember that. It was specifically for Packer games too. So, but I mean, Brewers try to do it with the Cubs series. They've been trying to do different stuff to limit Cubs fans from coming. So,
well, they always had, when you drove in before the parking lots, they always had on the sign at that time, a few years ago, just 2, 3, 4 years ago, parking $15 except weekends and Cub games. Then it's 20 or 25. But so they targeted Cubs fans to hijack a few more bucks for parking from them.
I guess my question would be, does that deter Chicago fans?
No.
I was going to say that doesn't seem like a lot for Chicago fans.
No.
If anything, I think you're deterring Wisconsin fans at that point. So,
there's no magic bullet. Just
no.
Charge what you charge, and if people can afford to pay it, they'll pay it.
Yep. Mike says, my keys to the game are the offensive line, whoever's replacing Zach Tom, if he's not playing, if they can give Jordan time to work. The offense, I think that's going to be a big key. Also, Cooper and Clay Walker keeping the running quarterback in check. Fans won't be as happy to travel with their team when we're beating them. If we keep beating Detroit, there won't be many Detroit fans coming. So, I mean, yeah, there was that winning streak that the Lions were on at Lambeau Field, so it was almost a guarantee.
There is still a factor. It's Lambeau Field. It's a destination. The governor just put it on a list of special attractions in Wisconsin that you have to see, like Door County, Devil's Lake, and now Lambeau Field is now one of those. So that just adds to the mystique of Lambeau Field. How many people in Wisconsin do you think have never seen Lambeau Field, at least driven by it to see where it sits in the city of Green Bay, let alone go to a tour or a game?
It's a good question. I wonder if anybody who's listening right now has never seen it or been in it. If you haven't, let us know.
Yeah, because
I'm curious. I remember as a kid before, like I didn't go to my first, I was never inside Lambeau Field. I didn't go to my first game until I was in college. I driven by it when I was a kid.
That's about same for me.
Yeah. drove by it and all that. And I remember when we drive by it, it was such a like, oh, like big deal for me as a kid, but I was never able to go until I was in college.
Yeah, and for me, I was down in the Madison area, so I had Camp Randall and the Badgers and this, that, and the other thing, and then Packers would always be a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get there as a young kid either.
Yep. Yeah. All right, we got to take a really quick break to wrap up this hour, so stick around. Keep those picks coming. Keep those bold predictions coming. We'll get to more of those coming up after these quick words. Just a couple minutes left until the top of the hour. Flying on through here this morning. We've got Zach on our YouTube stream saying, even if you're not a fan, I recommend going to one game. There is something special about that field, or at least doing a tour. I want to talk a little bit more about this coming up in the next hour. So if you could stick around for another half hour or so in turn to talk about this and more for the game coming up here too. So predictions, send those on over. Bold predictions, keys to victory, key matchups, player-wise. Pick one from the offense, pick one from the defense. Also, don't forget to send in your questions for Mr. Jake Boakes coming up at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. So text those on to us, 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. So lots to get to here with, I'll be honest, it doesn't feel like there's a game tonight yet. I think I'm still kind of getting into football mode, and I'm used to later Thursday games to pay attention to.
Well,
So,
I said a couple of weeks ago, when I asked you, I said, where are you in following the Packers? I'm all in on the Brewers.
mhm.
And to get to the Packers emotional level that we normally do, I'm not there yet.
Sunday went a long way with the way they played against Detroit for me. I think
It
I'm
helped.
yeah, it did. It's just weird that, yeah, it's Thursday and we got to watch a Packer game on Thursday. It's coming at us fast. All right, 2 in, got a couple more to go. We'll be back after these news updates. Third hour flying on through on this Thursday morning. It is a football Thursday. Green Bay taking on the Washington Commanders. Kickoff at 7:15 tonight. And yes, It is on Amazon Prime. I can't do anything about that for all of you. So if you don't have Amazon Prime, you either got to sign up or go somewhere and watch it online. So kickoff 7:15. No Brewers game today. Off day today for the Crew. So just saw this pop up. No, and probably not a big surprise, but Pete Thamel from ESPN saying for the Badgers, no Billy Edwards Jr. going up against Alabama. He will travel with the team, will warm up and such, but sounds like he says here, long odds to play against Alabama this week. So that's not going to be happening. So it'll be business as usual, I guess, from the last week and a half. So
I'm surprised because I was at the game last Saturday. He was on the sidelines, he had his jersey on and sweatpants, and he was moving on the sidelines. Now he wasn't in the game, obviously, but I thought, well, he's better. He's going to play next week. They were saving him for Alabama. So what his problem is, I don't know. Whether they want to use that as an excuse of why they get killed in Alabama, I don't know. But
yeah,
he looked healthy to me.
Just says he's still recovering from his sprained knee right now. So
he was walking and jogging without a limp.
So I mean, tale of two halves in that game last week, right? I mean, you had to be just venting in that first half or fuming from what you were seeing in that first half.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It's almost like they went into halftime and they said, "Oh, here's our playbook that we should be using. Where'd we do this in the first half?" I mean, they started using some of their skill players with a little speed. I don't think they can run like Alabama can, but they sure can outrun Middle Tennessee, and they finally decided that that's what they do. They started using the tight end. A light bulb goes on. It's almost like they had two different playbooks in the first half and the second half, and some of the defensive players came to play in the second half too. They hit some nice shots on Middle Tennessee players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it was unbelievable from one half to the next.
I mean, I would assume that you're probably going to pick Alabama to win this game. So, I mean, outside of a win, which is the obvious answer, what do you want to see from this Badgers team going up against Alabama? Just competitive football?
Yeah, I want to see them hold their own. I want to see the offensive line do something. We do not have running backs like we're used to in Wisconsin, but I want to see the offensive line move forward rather than get pushed into the backfield. I want to see improvement there because this offensive line is lacking, that's for sure, because they didn't run the ball down Middle Tennessee's throat. They ran around them. They threw the ball over the top in the second half. So at half, the Wisconsin game at the half, now officially the statistics will say rushing yards 17 for Wisconsin in the first half. 13 of those came on the last play of the half when they were running out the clock, and Middle Tennessee was back, not letting them have a Hail Mary. 4 yards scrimmage rushing in the first half. Wisconsin against Middle Tennessee, that's inexcusable.
No, I would agree with that too. I'm like, what am I watching here? Like, I don't even know if I feel better after watching the second half, to be honest with you. Because, I mean, you even go back to Miami of Ohio, you got to start like that against Alabama. I know Alabama's got issues, but it might be over with really quick.
You start like that against Alabama, play a first half like that against Alabama, 35-0.
Yeah, you don't even play the second half. Just have the running clock going and get out of there at that point. I don't feel good.
It wasn't good. You left, at halftime. Guy could have made $1 million by betting people Badgers are going to cover the spread 28, 14-10.
Yeah.
I mean, who thought they were going to win 42-10? But give them credit. They played hard. And like I said, it's like all of a sudden they found the right playbook on offense. And they came out and used it in the second half.
Yep.
It was mind-boggling to see the difference in the team.
Yeah. Yeah. So when's the next one you're going to be going to on? Do you know off the?
I'll be going to Maryland.
Maryland coming up here. So I mean,
that's another thing. The fans in Wisconsin, I mean, it was supposed to be a whiteout on Saturday against Middle Tennessee. I'll bet it was 65% white was all. 35. I mean, people are oblivious. They don't care. I mean, Penn State, when you call for a whiteout at Penn State,
it's white.
Badger fans, I don't understand. I think it's a social event. And yeah, they want to see their team win and all this, that, and the other thing. But I just laughed. I said to my son, I said, well, one of the problems is, I think, the fan base outside of the students, the fan base is a little older. And they say, well, they put this out on social media. Older fans aren't using social media. They've got a phone, but that doesn't mean they're on Facebook and their LinkedIn and their Spotify and all the other things. They're not seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't go through the regular media, like having you talk about it, that, it's going to be a whiteout in Madison, said, normal fans, a lot of those fans have no idea.
Mm-hmm. By the way, it is a whiteout at Green Bay tonight, so there you go. It's their winter warning.
Oh, is it a whiteout?
It's a whiteout tonight.
I didn't know that. I didn't hear that until just now.
Whiteout over at Green Bay. So, again, I don't know why they don't do it when it's actually winter, if that's the phrase. But as I think it was Evan that texted us in. Evan said, and he's right, probably because they don't make white Carhartts.
I was going to say, just what I was going to say. Nobody has anything heavy.
No, it's blaze orange.
Yeah, it's blaze orange. Otherwise,
Camo,
you got your green heavy parkas, not white. So I was thinking the same thing. Nobody has heavy clothes that are white.
No. Well, maybe there's an opportunity for somebody, maybe to create something like that. I don't know. So, but yeah, I
don't know if any of those things. I mean, they're wonderful to get the fans involved, but as far as the players are concerned, I don't know if they could care less. I think they like to wear white.
Yeah, they did it last year. I was at that game with the Texans. It's the white helmet, it's the white jersey, it's the white pants. I think the players like it just because it's something new that they can wear and all that. But
I hope it helps them.
Yeah, I think it'll be better at night because I think last year, if I remember correctly, when I went to it, I mean, I was wearing white because it was hot, so it was like that. It was really hot. And they made the Texans wear their dark blue jerseys, which, whatever, if that's something you kind of fact. But I think they tried to do like a cell phone light thing. I'm like, it's a noon game. I'm like, we can barely see it anyway. So, I mean, at least tonight's a night game that they can do that at, I guess. But
and that is neat when they use the cell phone lights at a night game or a late afternoon game. It perks up the stadium.
It really does. It looks really cool.
It really does.
So, but I think they tried doing like, what?
Not at a noon game.
Not at a noon game when it's really sunny out and not really a cloud in the sky. So, but going back.
What is the spread? I don't even know what the spread is.
I think it was 3.5. Let me double check. I have it right here.
And that's basically a home field advantage is all.
3.5. Yep,
so it's a toss-up, really.
So, yeah, neutral field. Green Bay would be a half-point favorite with this, but we'll see. I'd be curious if that line would be higher if Green Bay's offensive line was healthier in this game. But, I know Parsons is still listed as questionable. He's going to play. And it was listed questionable last week, too. So don't worry about that, Packers fans. But I will be curious to see if his snap count goes up, considering it is a short week. But, I would imagine he's got to be close to full goal next week when it's a little bit of a mini bye week after tonight's game. So,
what does he have? Back issues?
They said he had he's got like a sprain in the lumbar, but they're talking about he was going to get an epidural. He didn't even have an epidural before the game last week, so seems like he's fine at this point.
He kind of called his own shots, didn't he?
A little bit, but no, I'm excited to see what if he gets a little bit more playing time tonight. So
I think we all are, because I think he has a definite positive influence on that defense.
Oh yeah, big time. Going back to that whole stadium thing, as Zach said earlier, even if you're not a fan, I recommend going to one game. There is something special about that field, or at least doing a tour, because we were talking about opposing fans coming into stadiums and such, and I think it's more like just a fan thing that we don't want to see other fans there. We want it home, but I would personally like to go. I have not been to many other stadiums personally. I've never had the opportunity to go.
I haven't been to a lot of other football stadiums. I've seen Kansas City, they sit side by side, baseball and football, but I haven't been in either one.
Mm-hmm. And I think, I mean, I'm sure everybody's got different examples. We've kind of talked about this before in the past, but mostly, not all the time, mostly you hear positive stuff from opposing fans coming into Lambeau with Packers fans and such. So I think that maybe that's what helps opposing fans come over, because they keep hearing the positive stories. Like, hey, we know 'cause I'll tell you, I don't think I want to go to a Bears game because I don't want to deal with Chicago fans wearing a Packer jersey. You hear horror stories. I don't want to go to Philly. You
I
hear
don't want to go to Minnesota.
Yeah, you've told that story
I've had
before. Yeah.
Twice bad experiences.
Yeah, and
I've had bad experience with Minnesota fans in Lambeau.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where I think part of it is maybe that's like, I don't know if I want to go and take my kid to those type of experiences. Whereas, yeah, I've had weird ones at Lambeau too, but for a lot of times you do hear a lot of positive stuff, the Midwestern nice, probably thing, but that probably feeds into it a little bit too, because I don't really want to go to Chicago or Philly and deal with some of that stuff.
Philly's old stadium, I don't know about their new one. Philly's old stadium actually had a jail downstairs in it, and they said by the time the game was over, the cells were mostly full. So I don't know what was going on, but some of those places can be. Well, you go back to even baseball, Dodgers and Giants. When was it? A few years ago, Giants fans at Dodger Stadium going out of Dodger Stadium got shot because they were Giants fans. I mean, come on, people. Wow, that's over the top. You root for your team and you root hard, but you don't physically attack fans from other teams. It's fun to talk to them. A lot of them, you talk to them and things like this, and they're enjoying being here and all this stuff. And, it's talk to them, engage them. They're fun.
Well, I've had nothing but two really positive experiences with opposing fans in Lambeau. One was the NFC Championship game with the Giants. And I'm sitting in my seat. I'm in college, using my financial aid money for that ticket. But I see two guys come in. They got the painted cheese heads, blue, right? I'm like, oh no! And you could just tell. Oh, you could tell they're from New York, the way they're talking, and And it was like when Tynes went to kick the field goal to win it, and they're like patting me on the back. Don't worry, he's gonna miss, and he missed. And the second time, they're like, dude, you're fine. He's gonna miss. He missed. And then the third time, and they look at me like, he ain't missing this one. And he made it, and they're excited. But then I heard a lot of Packers fans saying, congrats, guys, and all that. But they were nice about it and all that. And then last year, when I took Hudson to his first regular season game, there was two Texans fans that came up to watch it. And, they were trying to talk. Hudson, he's so shy. He doesn't, talk to anybody. They went and bought him a cheesehead. They didn't have to do that. They're two Texas fans from Texas, and they went and bought him a cheesehead for his first game at regular season. So, I mean, I've had good stuff like that. It's not like that for everybody.
I have too.
But that's what it should be about,
I had
right?
Taylor Swift wave at me.
Yeah.
She was there for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I had Lil Wayne next to me in one game too. He didn't wave at me. He had a bunch of security that were way bigger than him. So,
right.
But I mean, that's what it should be about.
You make it what you don't look at a person rooting for another team at your stadium, Lambeau Field, and automatically assume they're an enemy or they're an a-hole or I mean, you are if you don't engage them or welcome them in. They're there to root for your team, just like when you go to an enemy stadium, you root for the Packers.
Yep.
I mean, it's sports.
Yeah. I mean, when I was at the when Favre broke the touchdown record, I mean, that's in the Metrodome, and I think I sat by one of the coolest fans ever, and he was a Vikings fan, but he was, hey, can we have Favre when you're done with him? And that's just like the forecast of that foreshadowing. I mean, but it's like what you said, you make it what it, I mean, just.
Yeah. And I've had, like I said, I had that one bad experience with the Vikings fan level, but I had other good experience. I was sitting in another Vikings game, and there were 3 or 4 guys there. They were dressed in like purple tuxedos with the gold shirts and ties and some kind of a hat. And we had more fun, talking to them and enjoying the game together. I mean, they wanted their team to win. I wanted my team to win. At that point, that was the game where the Vikings were blowing out the Packers, but it's also the game where Kirk Cousins blew out his leg in the second half.
Yeah.
So they won the game, but they suffered more than as a Viking fan than I did as a Packer fan. I mean, you don't say, ha ha, look what happened to your guy.
Right.
I mean, you just don't do that.
I agree. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back. We got another segment before Jake pops up, though, too. So let's take a quick break. Get back to a little more green and gold chats. Send me your bold predictions. Let's get some bold ones if you want to be entered for that prize pack. If maybe you're having a little home tailgate party and you're looking for some supplies, head to our good friends at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. You got all the... What the heck was that? I had a weird thing pop up on my phone. Anyways, looking for some supplies for your home tailgate party, head on over to our good friends at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Maybe grab some Man Cave Light, maybe some Dan Good Burgers. Got some apparel that you need. Maybe you need some new swag for Green Bay or your local high school teams or college teams. Hy-Vee in Eau Claire has that as well. So check them out today and load up for this football season. C-Bomb says, my bold prediction is El Capitano has 2 victory scotches, both 4 fingers deep, wakes up late, and for the first time shows up late for his program on Friday. No, because I probably won't go to sleep tonight, to be honest with you. Late games, I can't go to sleep after that. So it'll be a late one.
Really?
I can't turn it off.
Of course, I don't have Amazon Prime, so I won't be watching it, but I'll have it on the radio off and on.
Yeah, after late games, I just screw it because, I watch the pressers and locker room stuff. So I'm just like, I'll just stay up. So it'll be a long one. A long one. Plus,
What
we got
time is kickoff?
7:15. 7:15. So plus we've got practice tonight too before that. So a little long one. Hopefully it's a victory Friday tomorrow and not a downer Friday.
Yeah, hopefully it is. And I think the defense will be keeping Jaden Daniels between the hash marks. It's going to be a key.
I did like this. Was it this nugget from Evan earlier too? I thought it was a good little stat of the day. If you want, Matt LaFleur's offenses have never put up less than 30 points against Dan Quinn, going all the way back to Atlanta days. I thought that was a good nugget. Hopefully,
that is a good nugget.
Hopefully, they can continue that trend. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, hopefully Jordan Love. Boy, he had a nice touch on Sunday.
He looked more comfortable, didn't he?
Yeah, he really did. I mean, he made, to me, in week one, a major jump from where he was last year. He seemed more comfortable. He's getting more Aaron Rodgers like, throwing the ball not off balance, but not from the pocket with a normal throw. He's throwing, on the run, sidearm, 3/4 arm, and he's laying it where it has to be. At least game one.
Yeah, I think, part of it was, I think, protection from the offensive line. I mean, he only got 2 quarterback hits the whole game. But, yeah, he just looked a lot more confident. Outside those 2 really bad back-to-back decision throws. One of them was the pick six that got called back. Other than that, I thought.
Yeah, that was a mind-boggler why he threw. He had to know there was a penalty. I can't imagine he would have thrown that ball.
I don't know.
Because it had no chance.
Yeah. Even the one before, when he tried to hit Tucker Kraft and it was right in the linebacker's hand. I'm like, whoa, now, dude. Just take a deep breath here.
Yep,
so, other than that.
Overall, I thought he was very, very good.
And I think probably health outside the thumb, obviously. But, the knee and the groin injuries from last year, kind of in the rearview mirror. Knock on wood, it stays that way. But
yeah, they get Josh Jacobs going a little better, and it's not Josh Jacobs. I think the offensive line, a cohesive offensive line, and Jordan Love starts to get more respect from defensive coordinators. Josh Jacobs gets going. Look out.
Yep. So really quick too, I know we talked about it yesterday, but just some more numbers here with the Christian Watson extension. So this is from Ken Ingalls, who does Packer salary cap stuff online, and that he said, from what I understand about the Watson extension, it's an $11 million extension, $6 million added to 2025, $5 million added to 2026, roughly 13 in total in 2025. Base is just shy of $2 million. But and then it looks like it's just under $5 million for 2026. Anybody who's still like upset about this deal, numbers wise, it's really not that bad for this extension.
No, and I think Christian Watson, he's going to add a dimension when he comes back. Golden, we don't know. I expect him to be very good, be able to get up and down field. But I think when Watson gets back, between Reed and Dobbs and Tucker Kraft, you got some people to contend with there in these defensive backfields. It might keep 8 out of the box and open up for Jacobs here. I've got feedback in my earphones here, so I'm hearing myself twice. But
yeah, that's
I think there's a lot of positives here on this Packers offense, and Watson is one of those when he comes back.
I agree. Like, I know there was people upset because, he's injured and all that, but I think it's such a low risk, chance. And I think it's good for both sides. Watson has a little security heading into next year. Otherwise, he'd be heading into free agency and, probably signing a 1-year prove-it deal somewhere else. He gets some money, gets to stay in Green Bay. Green Bay gets a chance to keep him around, and for a lot of the reasons you were saying, because he is a kind of a rare receiver in terms of size, speed, and everything he does. I think it's a win for both sides.
And I think he came from a small school. I think he's comfortable in Green Bay. There's more of a family atmosphere. You can go in the grocery store, people are going to know you. A lot of these big cities, you don't know what's going on, where it's going on. There's no stability. I mean, up in the air, volatility, like the Chicago Bears would be a good example. I mean, everybody thought with their new coach, everything is going to be squared away. The volatility and this, and then you watch the second half of that game, and that was the Bears of old.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how they're going to rectify that, I don't know. But I don't know if a relationship between the coach and the quarterback isn't there yet. It seemed to be in the first half, and then the second half, it just was lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but all right, we got to get to Mr. Bulks coming up here. A big thanks for everybody for sending questions. What's your prediction for the game tonight? Packers, Commanders.
Oh, I think the Packers will win.
You think you could? Yeah. Go
Yeah,
score wise. Give me a score.
I think the Packers will win by 7 or more.
Badger wise, they're Alabama's 20. I think it's 20.5 last I checked. They cover that, or does Alabama win by more than that?
No, I don't think they cover it. Unless, like I said, they played Middle Tennessee. The second half was like a different playbook because they ran plays in the second half that they didn't run in the first game. They didn't run in the first half. Plays they ran. So did they all of a sudden find the playbook they were looking for? I don't know. And I don't know how they were faster than Middle Tennessee. Alabama's a different animal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping they can be competitive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If they can hold it under 20.5, because I'd like to see them continue to get better so there's more hope on the horizon when we get to Illinois, Iowa, Maryland, Minnesota. Because right now, or as the season has started, people are saying impossible for the Badgers to go to a bowl with this schedule. Well, I think this week will be a determining factor. I don't expect them to win, but if they can be competitive, I think they're going to get the attention of a lot of these other schools that have kind of thought they've already penciled Wisconsin in as a win.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping they can change that scenario.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. I don't have a ton of confidence right now. So
well, no, you can't. I mean, it's just they haven't given you indication.
Mm-hmm.
The defense. I saw some guys in the defense in the second half. I don't know what they did at halftime, but some guys on the defense in the second half came out of nowhere, made some hits against Middle Tennessee. It's not Alabama, but they some Badgers play of the past years that they hadn't shown last year or the first game and a half this year. So I left that stadium a little more optimistic than when I went in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Badger fans overall, I got to say this, Badger fans overall should be ashamed of themselves. Halftime, they booed and booed loudly. I don't know if you were watching that game.
Mm-hmm.
When they went off the field, they booed. They got ahead comfortably, and they all left the stadium. By the time the fifth quarter started, and I was there, I don't like to leave early unless it's raining or something, but I like to stay to watch the whole game. I mean, it was, if they were, I don't know, anybody that was there can contradict it, but I don't think that there were 5, 6, 7,000 people in the stadium at the end of that game. That was it. I was kind of frustrated with the fans. That once it got to be in hand, they left. And booed at halftime. They cheered them when they went ahead. There's no question. They cheered them. But then they left the stadium. That's telling the players that, well, you did what we expected. Now we're leaving. You know, they came back. They haven't been good the first game and a half. Second half, they were good. But I was kind of frustrated with the Badger fans the way they left the stadium on Saturday. I really was.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Grind my gears from intern.
Yeah, that was a grind my gears day. My son actually said to me, he said, "Look at this." That's what he's talking about. Look at the stands. And they were empty. And he's the one that brought my attention. Then I watched it and looked at it because I was still watching the game. But I was watching it. Then I looked at the stands and the way the fans were going out like somebody yelled free beer the way they left. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Hopefully, and fans are fans. It probably won't ever change.
Mm-hmm.
But that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
It was a grind my gears day.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, intern. Thanks, bud. We got
Yep, see you later.
we got Jake Bolks, DNR Warden, coming up and joining us here. Thank you to those of you who sent in some questions, and we've got the bowl opener starting up this weekend. So, got a quick break first. We'll be back. Talk with Jake.
Sliding around in those old sneakers, go to TyrolPickleball.com. You can look like a pro. You can play like a pro. It's Tyrol Pickleball Shoes. You spell it Tyrol. Tyrol Pickleball Shoes, the best pickleball shoes, purpose-built for pickleball.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RADIO to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RADIO for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RADIO for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Broadcasting live from the TDS Sports Talk 105.1 studios. It's the Dan Kasper Show.
Continue to send us your game predictions for tonight's Packers-Commanders game. Also looking for what you think are the key matchups, keys to victory, and some bold predictions. If you get your bold prediction correct, I'm going to put you into to the running to win a prize pack from us with some swag and such. So we'll get back to some more football talk coming up here in just a little bit. But it's time to catch up with our good buddy, Mr. Jake Folks, Conservation Warden for the great state of Wisconsin. Good morning, Jake, and happy, I guess a couple days before bow opener, bud.
Yeah, no, good morning, guys. And yeah, only a couple of days. I know there's a lot of people have been sending me pictures of their trail camera with bucks already that they patterned and stuff, and people are definitely excited for this weekend.
Absolutely. So let's jump. Actually, I want to go. We missed a question last week. It kind of came in late, but remember last week we were talking about licenses, paper licenses, and the Go Wild card and such. Somebody had asked, does your driver's license count if you carry that when you go hunting or fishing?
It does. So, driver's license or just your identification card, say you don't have a driver's license. So any of those things work as long as they're current and up to date.
Perfect. So I missed that one last week. So live and dream, Jeff. Hopefully that answers your question there too. So I thought it was, but I wanted to ask the expert first before.
No, that's good. I would say 90% of the people we check probably have they have their driver's license in their wallet and they just show us that and for again 90% of the things you do in this state, that's all you need is your driver's license.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So with the bow season coming up here, actually let's go to Handy Andy's question because he texted that in fairly early here this morning. But he was wondering how come we are allowed to leave a ladder stand in the woods 7 days prior to and 7 days after the gun season north of Highway 64, but not allowed the south of Highway 64?
So I wasn't in the meeting room when when the actual decision was made and the justifications and everything that led up to it. But what I do know is that you're allowed to leave it north of 64, mostly because it's bigger state land, bigger federal lands, bigger lands that have more opportunity for people to spread out. They started this, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, where they allowed tree stands or stuff to stay on state land. And I guess we're specifically talking about state land, but they allowed it to stay overnight on state lands, kind of as like a trial period to see how it would work. There's obviously a lot of pros to being able to leave your stands out at night. It's safer. You don't have to wake up extra early. You don't need to make a lot of noise in the morning or breaking it down at night. The problem with them, though, on the reverse of that, is it really privatizes a piece of the wood. So his question is, why up north versus down here? And I think because it was a trial period, because I don't think they found a lot of evidence that would support it being expanded to the whole state, is probably why they still allowed up north and not south of 64. What we see, a lot of hunters see it when people illegally leave their stands on state land. It creates a few issues. not only does it kind of privatize an area, but then historically a hunter may not want to go in that area because they're thinking that deer are patterned over there, or they're going to have conflict with another person. And well, stands are first come, first serve, even if it's your stand that you leave overnight because it's public property. So it does create a sort of like conflict in the mornings and evenings when people come in and stuff like that. So I don't know all the exact reasons, but for a lot of different reasons like that, culturally, uh, and different stuff like that, that's why they don't allow it down here.
Gotcha. All right. How about I know there's probably not a lot of counties that allow this, Jake, but when, with bow season coming up for the counties that can, do you know when they can like start to legally put bait out there?
Yeah. So when it comes to baiting, and there are, because Clark County went to no bait, there's nothing around here. You basically have to go to northern Wisconsin, all the way to the top, or all the way to the northeast if you want to bait. Um, so in those areas you can, it's 24 hours before the start of the season, so you can't be baiting until not even today, tomorrow, basically. So you can't early bait in the summertime on properties where you can and counties you can. And then similar to that on the tree stand stuff, everything I just talked about is all just state land related. North of 64, you can leave them overnight starting in September. South of 64, you can't. But every county land is different. And so, like, Eau Claire County doesn't allow tree stands. They're very similar to the state. They don't allow tree stands or blinds left overnight. But like Clark County, they do allow 7 days prior to the start of whatever season, so like bear hunting, you could go 7 days before and set up your stand and leave it in there through that season and then remove it. So if you do want to hunt properties where you can leave stuff, look at county land and look at their individual rules and see if that specific county allows it.
Gotcha. All right. So, with bow season coming up here too, I know we got a couple other hunting seasons I want to touch on, but what would you say is, heading into this weekend, the biggest violation or maybe some infractions or however we want to phrase it that hunters
Yeah.
kind of go through that you would kind of suggest maybe preparing for ahead of time so maybe you don't get that violation or anything?
Yeah, no, great question. And it always comes back to purchasing your license before you go in the woods. So, especially at the beginning of the season, whether it's fishing, hunting, even boating, ATV, and snowmobiling, people's machines aren't registered. People forget to buy their archery license because they thought they bought it with their fishing license back in April. So the first thing you want to do after making sure you have all your gear ready for Saturday is you want to make sure go out and make sure you actually have an archery license. 24 bucks. If you don't have it, it's a crime, which is $2,000 minimum. It's a 3-year revocation, confiscation of your gear, misdemeanor. So just for a $24 license, you can avoid all of that. And then baiting would be the second biggest thing we see. Licensing and baiting are the two biggest things right now with your stuff. So it's pretty Clark County. I get it. It's been back and forth. So we take that into account when we contact people. But everybody knows Clark County is no baiting yet. But there hasn't been baiting allowed in this part of the state for a long time. So it's really hard to plead ignorance when you contact people in the woods with a bunch of apples or corn or this or that or mineral blocks and trophy rocks and stuff like that. So really make sure you take the time to read those regulations, do the right enforcement thing, because it's not just like whether you believe in CWD or not if you bait, but it's more of a fair chase aspect. And that's how I view the baiting when I enforce it or when I'm investigating it is if all your neighbors are not baiting and you're putting out 50 gallons you're how is that fair to your neighbors? How is that fair to everyone? Following the regulations and doing the enforcement thing, it's kind of like cheating on a test. So we want everyone to play at the same rules and everyone have a fair chase at the same animal.
Right. Yesterday too, you kind of switched over. I mean, for bear season, Jake, it seems like everything kind of opened up for bear season yesterday, correct?
Yep. So it's all open. Whether you're hounding, whether you're sitting, whatever zone you're in. So yeah, the bear season is full go right now. Definitely hearing success stories, seeing some bears come across, talking with people in the public that have seen it. So if you haven't got yours yet, just put in the time. It's going to get a little warm this weekend. We'll, change some of the movements of the animals. But there's definitely plenty of bears in Wisconsin.
Mhm.
So it's still time to get on.
So, as you mentioned too, though, teal season is over with, correct?
Yep, now it's only a 9-day season to start. So that ended earlier this week. To be honest, it kind of started off hot, but just haven't seen, at least I haven't seen, or some of the hunters I've talked with haven't seen a ton of teals flying. Plenty of ducks, plenty of waterfowl, uh, but not a ton of teal. I think we kind of shot out what was here, and other stuff kind of probably got patterned. So that's over. So don't go teal season hunting this weekend. The early goose season is still open for a few more days, so you can go out there and blast some geese if you want. But don't go duck hunting until for the end of the season.
Gotcha. Yeah, I keep driving by in the field. I see some geese still out there too. So I feel like there's, they're kind of making me run here a little bit, Jake.
Oh, I know, and I've actually seen a lot more geese or something down in the field recently. I don't know if they got the water or someone that's sort of coming early or what, but yeah, now through the 15th, you can still get 5. Once the regular season starts, it drops down to 2. But right now, you can go out there and shoot 5. So it's a fun time.
Yeah, and I'm like, I just almost want to kind of pull over, Jay. I mean, they're in the field, like
Yeah.
just the field's right next to the roads for crying out loud. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I see too that rough grouse for Zone A opens up on Saturday as well.
Yeah, this like the archery opener kind of coincides with a lot of different openers. It's kind of like that first big weekend. Obviously, the waterfowl one is just like the start of fall, but this one is where you start getting the squirrels that open, grouse, different things, the deer. So there's different seasons for different grouse, different zones. So make sure you abide by that and check the regulations. Like we talk about every week, check the regulations. But yeah, it's definitely starting by the end of the month we'll be full bore. Everything's going to be open here.
And that also looks like for fall turkey as well. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
I know it may not be as popular as the spring one, but are they the same? Maybe just kind of a reminder. Is it the same rules as the spring, or are they a little bit different?
Nope, same exact rules. The nice thing is that you hunted in the spring, your turkey stamp is still valid. You don't have to spend extra money on a turkey stamp. Same with like your license for the most part. You just have to get a fall turkey harvest authorization or fall turkey egg. But it's the same thing. You got to be in the right zone. The cool part about fall turkey, I know, is you have to be in the right zone, but you don't have to go. It's not like a week. It's not a week. It's open statewide all the way through November, I believe, and that's I think a couple of calls. But you can go out. You don't have to worry about your weeks. You can just get your turkey tag, grouse hunting, blast that or what, as long as you got everything. And it's any age, any sex as well. You can shoot hens in the fall.
Oh, that's right. I thought there was something a little bit different that way, but that's right. You can do whatever you want, I
Yeah.
guess, at that point. So.
Yeah, they're not. It's not breeding season. They're not sitting on their eggs or stuff like that. So, the turkey numbers are drastically less in the spring. But you can get out there. I think we shoot 3,000 or 4,000 each fall. I think it's that high, maybe 1,500, somewhere around there. But I've dusted a couple in the fall, and I'm just walking other stuff, and it's kind of fun, and it's another meal for Thanksgiving or the fall. But I will say, in the fall there are a lot of littler turkeys running around because of all the ones that have been growing up from the spring. So you might end up with something that has a breast smaller than a goose, and I may or may not have experience with that.
Well, I feel like too, like fall, especially when I'm bow hunting, they're traveling more in groups too, maybe compared to the spring as well.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, end up archery, shooting one with their crossbow, shooting one with their archery equipment when they're deer hunting. That's why it's always important make sure if you want to do that, have that fall turkey tag. I think it's only $10 for a resident. Have that fall turkey tag before you go deer hunting, and you can maybe walk out of there with both, or if not one of them.
Yeah, no doubt. Jake, good stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate it. Stay safe out there, and we'll catch up in a couple weeks now. All right.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's always fun. Great way to start a Thursday. Good luck to all the hunters going out this weekend, and I know there will be some fishermen too, so good luck to everyone.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. We'll catch up with you soon. Okay.
Yep. See you later.
You got it. There you go. Jake Brooks is here this morning. We got to take our final break to wrap up the third hour. We'll do that and be back. All right, we got less than a minute before the shot clock cuts us off. So coming up next hour, won't be able to join us today, but I'll tell you who's going to be a weekly guest every Thursday around 9:05. Coming up just past the top of the hour here. So we'll get to that. Plus, back to some more Green Bay chat with the game tonight. Packers, Commanders. looking for your bold predictions, looking for your game predictions, key matchups, keys to victory. What do you got? Hit us up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Or you can comment on the video streams where we've got Zach, we've got Chad, we've got Sammy Boy, Packers taking the title. So, yeah. All right. So got Paul over there as well. So you can join us on the YouTube chats or it's on Facebook as well. So join in on the fun. Let's get those predictions coming. And I want some really good bowl predictions like we had in that first hour in the 6 a.m. hour. So if you're just joining in, give us some really good ones. All right. And I might throw you a prize pack if you get it right. So, all right. 3 in. We got one more to go. Stick around. We'll be back after these news updates. All right, the final hour for this morning here. Big thanks for making us a part. If you're already just joining in, where have you been? Been here for a couple hours talking lots of Packers, talking some Brewers, looking for your bold predictions. I want some good bold predictions. We've had some really good ones coming through here. Handy Andy's got a bold prediction. Jordan Love, 350 yards and 4 tuds, and Josh Jacobs with 150 total combined yards, 1 rushing tud, 1 reception touchdown. I like it. This is what I'm talking about here. We got some good ones. Why am I asking for bold predictions? 'Cause I wanna get you some swag here too. So if anybody gets it right, heck, get it close. Alright? If you get it close, I'm gonna send you some swag. So hit me up with a text on that Shootouts bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or boys that we got over there at the YouTube channel. I like it. We got Samsky, we've got C-Bomb, we've got Zach over there. Let's get this thing rolling over there. Join the boys over there too. So starting next week, really quick before we get to some Packers chat. Starting next week, every Thursday at this time, 9:05 through week 17 of the season. I know we're a little bit behind here, so it'll be starting for week 3 games and that. A little behind the 8 ball here, but we're gonna welcome back Mr. Eric Balkman to the program. If you are a fantasy football player, you probably know Eric, probably heard of him. You've probably heard him on various outlets, Sirius, regular radio. He's also has his own show with The Score in Appleton, but he's a part of the Fantasy Football Players Championship. He is a part of High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour, a part of the Better Sports Network, RotoViz, all over the place. Eric is going to be joining us starting next Thursday at 9:05, answering your fantasy football questions. So if you have lineup questions, if you have, do I start this guy over this guy, free agency questions, trade proposal questions, if you want an expert's opinion on it, we got it here every Thursday, 9:05 before you have to set your lineups up. So that'll be starting next Thursday at this time, all the way through the football season. We had Eric on as a reoccurring guest a couple years ago. We're going to bring him back on starting out. That's who I was hoping maybe we could get on for this morning, but we're going to start for next Thursday. So with your week 3 lineups, you're struggling a little bit, not sure who to start based off matchups and that, we got an expert to help you. Every question we get, we are going to we're going to get your question into Eric. So, and you don't have to, you can do them ahead of time, you can do them while Eric's on, but he's gonna help you set your lineup. So really looking forward to having Eric back on next week, helping answer your fantasy football questions. Packers, Commanders, who you got? Send me some predictions for this game. I'm going to go through my keys to victory coming up here in just a little bit. Did it in the first hour, but that was over 3 hours ago, so we'll kind of revisit that. What are your keys to victory, though? When you're looking at this game, this is what this program is about. It's about your input, your thoughts, your analysis. So, what are your opinions? What are your thoughts on this matchup? All right. Hit me up, 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line with a quick text. All right. So we'll get to that coming up here a little bit. Brewers wise, let me throw this question out to you, Brewers fans, too. All right. Brewers getting swept by the Rangers. First time they've been swept in a 3-game series since the opening series against the Yankees. We got 15 games left to go. Phillies are only 2.5 back right now from the Brewers for the first spot in the National League. Granted, Brewers do have the tiebreaker, so let's go 3.5. Are you starting to get a little nervous, Brewers fans, the way things are kind of trending here after coming off of a sweep? Or maybe you're the mindset, you know what, Texas, They're trying to get in that playoff spot. They're trying to get into the wild card. They're 1.5 back. It's a tough team going to their house. Maybe you're like, "Mm, I'll kind of maybe not panic too much." On a scale of 1 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you right now with, with the Brewers? Let me know, alright? Let me know. So, for Packers-wise, we got, some more bold predictions coming in here, and I like it. We've got, Matthew Golden has been a very popular pick for, for some bold predictions here. We've got Jim saying Matthew Golden for a buck 50 and 2 touchdowns. Something similar to somebody else I think I said too. We got a pick here, Micah Parsons with 2 sacks. We've got Josh Jacobs rushing for 125 yards and 3 touchdowns. Okay, 3 rushing touchdowns. I like that. So, uh, we've got we've got another one here, Jordan Love throwing for 305 touchdowns. That's from Dave on our texting line. And then another one, we've got another one here coming through. This is from Alex. Alex is saying Xavier McKinney with 2 interceptions. Texter here, Yankees Bomber 27 or Yankee Bombers 27. I like the nickname coming on the texting line here. I got Green Bay winning 31-21. Jordan Love, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. Matthew Golden, 6 catches for a buck 26 and 1 touchdown. Parsons, 3 sacks. Yes, this is what I'm talking about with some bold predictions. I love it. Keep them coming. All right, keep these coming. Got some more predictions here. Everybody besides our good buddy Paul is his bold prediction. He's got the Packers losing, but he's a Packers fan. Paul, I hope you're wrong if you're still listening. But, pretty much everybody else, they're rolling with the Pack tonight. Brian's got a 31-20 victory. Luke's got a 28-17 victory. We've got Tony with a 34-17 victory for the Packers. Jake, he's rolling with a 27-13 Packers victory. Keep these babies coming, Bob. So, all right. You know what? Take a quick break, and then we're going to keys to victory for the Packers tonight, taking on the Commanders. What about you? What is your key to victory or some of your keys to victory for Green Bay? I know you all have it. Man, if Green Bay does this, man, Jordan Love's got to do this. So and so's got to do this. If we can do this, we get the W. Let me know. All right. Shoot me a text or comment on those videos for us. Take a quick break. We'll be back after these few words. 7:15 kickoff tonight between Packers and Commanders. Again, you're going to have to, if you want to watch it, it's going to be on Amazon Prime. So if you don't have it, either sign up for it or go somewhere that does have it to tune into the game. Got a good conversation going on our YouTube page right now. C-Bomb on there says, when I saw the schedule come out, I was hoping to get out 1-1 in the first 5 days of the season. If we come out 2-0 and come out with another dominant victory, this season could be magical, fellas. Zach on our YouTube stream says, Love has to take care of the ball, and the defense has to get pressure on Daniels and stop Debo. So here are my 5. We're all probably thinking on the same page here for a lot of them, to be honest with you. But I think they're worth kind of visiting and such, and there's probably more than 5. There's probably more than 5. But if I'm missing any, and I'm pretty sure I am, send them on over, okay? Alright, send them on over. But my first key is and honestly, it could be a key for every single week. It really probably is a key for every single week. But factoring in the potential of missing 2 offensive linemen for this game, protecting Jordan Love to me is going to be a crucial key for this game. Now, last week, when the Commanders were going up against the Giants, Commanders were able to generate nearly 50% pressure on dropbacks against the Giants, meaning half the dropbacks, half the passing attempts that the Giants did, Washington was generating nearly 50% of pressure on those. I get it. It's the Giants. I understand it's the Giants, okay? Say what you want about them. But at the same time, you lose 2 starting offensive linemen, it's gonna take an effect, especially Zach Tom. Now, I don't know if let's say both Banks and Tom are out of this game. I would assume Morgan is gonna slot in at left guard. I could be wrong, but I would assume that's gonna be the case. Now, if Banks plays, but Tom doesn't, does Morgan go over to right tackle? Do they put Belton? Do they go Kennard? I mean, that to me is gonna be the interesting one there. You would I mean, I want both of them in there just because of depth purposes, but Zach Tom is the one that worries me the most a little bit because he's a premier offensive line. He's a premier tackle in this game, one of the best right tackles in all of football. So, yeah, would like both of them. Probably would really like Zach Tom in this one. But protecting Jordan Love, I mean, I think that was a big reason why Jordan Love was had such a solid game last week was the protection that the offensive line was able to give him. Jordan Love was only hit twice, no sacks. And I think that was a big reason why he looked calm, why he looked comfortable, why he looked confident in the game. And I think they got to do that again going up against Washington. The second part, like a lot of you have already mentioned, a ton of you have already mentioned, pressuring Jaden Daniels. But I would say it's got to be like that contained pressure, that collapsing the pocket pressure, not allowing him to hit the edge, not allowing him to step up in the pocket and using his legs either to extend the play or picking up big game first downs using his legs. That contained pressure, collapsing the pocket around him. And that's kind of why when we did our key players, and I agree with everybody who said Quay Walker, Edrin Cooper, Devontae Wyatt. I agreed with all those. If I'm throwing a little bit of a wild card player in this one, that's where I kind of mentioned Van Ness in this because if he is in at defensive tackle in pass rushing situations, I think he could be a key player in generating that pressure up the middle. I got the confidence in the speed guys like a Parsons and a Gary at the edge. Like, if you could get that pressure up the middle from Van Ness and get Jaden Daniels off his mark, I think that would be huge. And all that kind of goes into my third key to victory for this one, which is not just generating pressure, but generating quick pressure. Because we saw what the Lions did last week, and that was a key to our victory last week going into that game against the Lions, was trying to limit the quick passing game of Detroit. And Detroit had some success with that last week, especially with Sam Laporta. So it's not only just getting to the quarterback and generating quick pressure, it's not just getting to the quarterback and generating pressure, it's generating quick pressure. Getting after that quarterback right away. Getting in his face right away. And I think that's where Lucas Van Ness can be potentially a key player in this thing. Don't allow them, and a lot of people said too, containing Deebo Samuels. Don't allow Jane Daniels to hit Deebo Samuels with a quick pass, or Zach Ertz, or Terry McLaurin. Get in his face right away. Get him off the mark right away. Make him a little bit nervous back there. Make him a little bit jittery. Don't allow those quick passing attacks to happen in this game. My fourth key to victory, and again, this is one that's probably key almost every single week. Probably key every single week. It probably is a goal for the Packers defense every single week. Winning the turnover battle. We know the Packers defense prides themselves on getting turnovers. They want to lead the league in turnovers. An emphasis all offseason was to increase forced fumbles from Jeff Hafley's group. Last year, Jane Daniels was nearly completed 70% of his passes, only threw 9 interceptions. If those opportunities present themselves to get a turnover, to get a pick, to get a fumble, take that opportunity. Go get a couple of picks. Look at how big that pick was last week against the Lions from Evan Williams. How big of a play that was before halftime. If Detroit scores before halftime, how much does it change the complexion of that game? We don't know whether it was a field goal or touchdown, how much it changes. Maybe it changes momentum a little bit. But that was huge. That was a game-changing play. And if you have those opportunities again tonight, take advantage of that. Capitalize on it. And at the same time, if you're the Packers offense, don't turn the ball over. Take care of the football. Don't give Daniels and his offense and Cliff Kingsbury another opportunity or extra offensive possessions. Don't let that happen. Take care of the football. No, for the most part, Jordan Love was solid last week, except for 2 bad decisions. Luckily, it didn't cost Green Bay. One almost did. Well, actually, both almost did, but one was called back. Talking about, the throw out in the flat to the side to Tucker Kraft that was way behind him that Anzalano almost picked, and that he would have just been in for a pick six. And then the throw after that was the pick six that was called back. Don't have that. Can't have that. So take care of the football on the offensive side. Defensively, try to force those turnovers. Where's that pick going to come from? Where's that forced fumble going to come from? And then finally, like a lot of you have already mentioned too, getting the running game going, getting the running game established. Every opponent, every defense is going to say every single week, regardless of the running a game they're going to be going up against, what is a talking point every defense says? We got to stop the run. Every coordinator says that. Every head coach says that. Every defense says that. We got to stop the run, regardless of who they play. Doesn't matter if it's Saquon Barkley or insert other team, like, I don't know, I'm trying to, like, the Giants or something like that. Stop the run. And I'll be curious to see how the Commanders approach this, because I'm sure they're going to say a goal is stop the run, stop Josh Jacobs. But, we heard Josh Jacobs last week after the game. Said he told his receivers, take offense to that. Detroit said we're going to stop the run. They were going to focus on stopping the run, stopping Josh Jacobs. And Jacobs told his receivers, all right, take advantage of that. Attack him. So I'll be curious to see what Dan Quinn, Joe Witt Jr., former Packers defensive coach, what the game plan is defensively. Like, I'm sure they want to stop the run, but how much are they willing to invest in stopping the run? Are they going to load up the box to stop Josh Jacobs and essentially say, Jordan, Reed, Kraft, Dobbs, Wicks, you guys beat us. You guys go out there and beat us. Bobby Wagner is probably going to be a key player for that defense that's going to be tasked to try to stop or slow down or neutralize or contain Josh Jacobs, the veteran linebacker, had 10 tackles last week. But regardless, whether they try to load up the box or whatever the game plan is for Washington's defense, if Green Bay can get that running game going, if they can have success running the football, one, you can have the ability to control the clock, control the time of possession, win the time of possession battle. Two, it's going to help out your offensive line if you have backups in there. Offensive linemen want to run block. They want to get out in space. They want to hit somebody. They want to get out there and just, if they could run block every snap, I think they probably would. It would make it a little bit easier if you have a couple backups out there where if you're having success running the football, they can just go out there and run block and not have to drop back in their pass blocking sets a lot. So it'll help out your offensive line that way too. But you're having success with Josh Jacobs and running the football. You know what else that's going to do? It's going to open up that play action game. It's going to open that play action game where you can hit a Tucker Kraft going down the seam. Maybe you can hit a Matthew Golden going up the sideline, or a Jaden Reed on a crossing route, or a Romeo Dobbs. If you could get that play action going where that defense just bites for a half a second, that half a second makes a difference in big plays, in big passing plays. So establishing the run benefits this offense in so many different ways. But you got to have a little success with it too. You know, it was a little bit slow in that first half against the Lions last week. Started to open up a little bit more in that second half. But if Green Bay can have that success and get Josh Jacobs going to where the defense maybe is forced to put extra defenders in that box, it's going to open up that passing game. Or, you know, if they have a little bit of success, let's say throwing the football and they're moving the chains and that, then take advantage of it running game and control that clock, control that time of possession. You know, I think one player, and Green Bay's familiar with him, but if there was one player that you're worried about on this Commanders team outside of the quarterback, outside of Jaden Daniels, you know, you look at what Sam Laporta did last week at the tight end position, you're maybe thinking, okay, Zach Ertz, you know, is this going to be a game for him? But I look at Deebo Samuel, and a lot of you mentioned Deebo. This week, 7 catches for 77 yards. He is a guy that you can move all over the place on the field. He is a offensive coordinator's dream. Multiple different things that you can do with him. I mean, he had 1 carry for 19 yards for a touchdown, for crying out loud, last week too. We know Kyle Shanahan used him a lot in the backfield. Targeted 10 times against the Giants last week. 10 times. Who's going to be tasked to be on Deebo Samuel? Is it McKinney? Is it Williams? Is it going to be a corner? Keyshawn? Is it Carrington? Nate Hobbs plays? If I'm Jeff Hafley and I'm this Packers defense, I'm paying attention to where number one's at. I'm paying attention to where he's going, motion, pre-snap motion, because he is such a versatile offensive weapon. And you've got Cliff Kingsbury on this team as your offensive coordinator, who we know likes to be creative in his play calls, likes to do different things. You got a guy who's essentially a Swiss Army knife that can do multiple things. So knowing where number one is at, where he's lined up, what he's doing, all eyes, a lot of eyes, I should say a lot of eyes have to be on Deebo Samuel. Who is going to be the player that is tasked initially to be covering him, to be on him? And I think the big thing is too, and we saw Green Bay do a really good job with it last week in Detroit or against Detroit. When somebody has the ball, like when Gibbs got the ball, everybody, every defender flows to the football. Everybody, team tackling, get over there. Deebo is a tough guy to bring down. If he's got the ball, don't rely on just a single tackler to bring him down. Everybody flows to the football to bring Deebo down. He's a physical guy. He may only be 6 foot, but he's 215, and that's a lot of muscle on there. We've seen it how many times against Green Bay when he was with San Francisco. Used a lot of similar ways to how Shanahan was using him in San Francisco. That is going to be a key player to try to neutralize, to try to slow down. Green Bay did a really, really good job on Gibbs last week in neutralizing him. A dynamic offensive player, both in rushing and receiving. Gibbs caught 10 catches last week, but for 31 yards. 20-some yards rushing. Green Bay did a fantastic job with that. They've got to do the same with Deebo Samuel. They have got to limit his effectiveness on this Commanders offense because he is such a versatile player. If they could do that, they've got a really good shot at neutralizing this offense and, in turn, winning this football game. Some of my key players in this one, I mentioned a couple of them. I mentioned Lucas Van Ness just from the Jane Daniels aspect, but again, the key player too is going to be, okay, who's maybe that guy that's going to be on Deebo paying attention to him. It's going to be so important for the guys like Quay Walker to diagnose and read and getting that communication going. There were some great cut-ups of this defense from last week, and you can look them up, but you could tell the communication from that Packers defense was on point last week. How many times over the years have we talked about issues with communication on the Packers defense? Last week, they really displayed a lot of good, like, pre-snap communications. From McKinney, from Cooper to the front line, it looked awesome. They're gonna have to do that again tonight going up against the Cliff Kingsbury offense. And that's gonna be key in trying to slow down Deebo Samuel. My key offensive player is we talked about him already, is Josh Jacobs, kinda like what everybody or a lot of you are saying too. Yes, it's gonna be the offensive lineman who replaced potentially the 2 starters. Yes, it's gonna be Jordan Love in maintaining, you know, controlling the football, hitting his marks, kind of, picking back up where he left off last week, maybe even elevating a little bit more. It's all 100% correct. But I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs for my one pick if I'm narrowing it down to just one, because if you get that running game going, it opens up so many other doors. It opens up your passing game. You're making it easier on your offensive linemen. If they do have a couple backups in there, you're controlling the time of possession. All right, we gotta take a quick break. Send me some bold predictions. I'll even give you a couple bold predictions too. Why not? I can't win it, but why not? Keys to victory, key matchups, bold predictions, all that good stuff. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Zach on our YouTube feed says, I could not agree more about Debo. Someone has to have eyes all game on him. He torched us in that playoff game. I got to tell you, Zach, Samsky, Chad, I love seeing you guys on the YouTube stream. I want to see this thing grow and continue to grow. You guys are going to be on there on a regular basis. I'm going to make you moderators. How about that? Make you the official moderators of the YouTube stream over there. Keep that coming. I like it. I really appreciate it. Big thanks, guys. We got some more bold predictions. We've got a Jordan Love throwing for nearly 400 yards, says a different Sam. I'm going to go nearly 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. Jordan Love lights up the world tonight. We've got another bold prediction. Rick is going to say Josh Jacobs, $150 on the ground and 3 touchdowns. All right. How about I want to get in the game on some of these bold predictions. All right. I want to get in the game. So I can't win, but I'm keeping track of all the bold predictions here. Okay. So keep track of your bold predictions too, because if you get close with your bold prediction, I'm going to send you some swag. Okay. I'm going to give you some swag. So, make that. Keep tabs of that. I'll try to keep tabs. I might miss it, so just gonna get you some swag. So, Zach and Samsky, I might have to get you some swag anyways if you're gonna be on those video streams and be the moderators on there. Put up some poll questions and that. So my bold prediction, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Packers defense gets 2 interceptions. I don't think somebody. I don't. I'm not. See, I don't think one player gets 2. I'm gonna go. Packers defense gets 2 picks and a forced fumble. So they create 3 turnovers, 2 picks and a forced fumble. Jacobs runs for $150, 2 touchdowns. I'm going to save my game pick till we get to the picks here at the end. But yeah, Jacobs, $150, 2 touchdowns. A lot of you threw up $150, by the way, for Jacobs. So we're kind of maybe thinking the same thing. Yeah, I think I'm going to roll with that. 3 turnovers by the Packers defense. 2 of them come by interception. One's a forced fumble. Since Halfley and his group have been just preaching that, trying to get more forced fumbles, punching it out, the old Peanut Tillman punch out, trying to get that going there, or the Charles Woodson-esque one too. By the way, Evan Williams last week with that interception. I know earlier in the week we talked about guys who had good games, really good games, and maybe kind of flying under the radar a little bit. And when we're handing out our flowers and game balls and all that, and Evan Williams was the highest graded defensive player by Pro Football Focus, so he got some flowers there. But I still feel like maybe from a fan perspective, we should have gave Evan Williams a little bit more love. That break on the ball, I know it was Micah Parsons with that pressure that helped that, but that still was an impressive break on the ball by Evan Williams. And I'm not comparing him to this player. He got a long ways to go for that. But that break on the ball reminded me so many times of seeing Charles Woodson break on a football. I mean, there's the rewinds, the instant replays in my mind of how many breaks in the football Woodson had. And I know Parsons got a ton of credit for helping that, and they're exactly right. Everybody's right about that. That Parsons had a big hand in that, but that was a fantastic break on the ball by Evan Williams. And boy, it reminded me of 21 back in the day with Green Bay. The way he would break on some of those footballs. I don't know if anybody else thought that too, but I was like, dude, I had to text a buddy of mine. I'm like, gosh, that was such a sweet break on the ball. That's like playing recess ball, waiting for your buddies, and then you just break on it and take it to the house for a pick six. That's what it was kind of like, even though this really wasn't a little bit of a bait, I guess, but Parsons rush there. So Evan Williams, we talk about guys entering their second or third years and looking for those jumps. I mean, we talk about it with Jordan Love, just his 30 years a starter. He's been around longer than that, but 30 years a starter. You've got people wanting to see kind of a jump or a leap or just continued growth. Edgerrin Cooper for sure. A lot of high praise surrounding him. I mean, he starts off the season with a bang, entering his second year. Lucas Van Ness, who we talked about. But you got Evan Williams. You got Evan Williams, and I know Xavier McKinney's the other safety and captain, leader, one of the highest paid safeties in the league in that. But this Evan Williams guy, remember last year, didn't play a single. It's still like head scratching when you think about it. Didn't play a single snap against Philly in game one. Not one. And I remember we'd had Rob Domofsky on the game or days after that, heading into week 2. And he even mentioned it was kind of a head scratcher a little bit. That obviously changed, and he turned into such a pivotal player for that defense. That he was out. It had an effect on the pass defense. But Evan Williams, man, he's quickly turning into one of the key players on this defense with the McKinney, with the Cooper, with the Parsons, with the Gary. I mean, the potential still for this defense. Maybe I'm hyping it up a little bit too much, but I just feel like when you look at it and you look at week 1, I know it's an overreaction from week 1, I get it. But I mean, come on now. When you look at the potential that this defense can absolutely provide you with some of these guys on here, how does that not get you pumped up and excited for this? I know there has been other years where we've gone into a season where we've been excited about the potential of a defense. We're hearing the right things. Oh, we're excited about this draft pick. But kind of what C-Bomb said in the first hour, where he hasn't been this excited about a defense since '96. Like, legitimately, when was the last time this early in the season we're excited? Even like in 2010, did we expect the defense to be that great? Remember '09, yes, they had Woodson and they had a rookie in Clay Matthews that showed some promise, but they were adjusting to a 3-4 in '09, and we're giving up a lot of yards. I don't know really what the excitement expectation. I don't think it was as high as it is now heading into 2010. It ended up being very good, but it didn't sustain to that level. And you had credit to that defense and credit to Dom Capers. You had other dudes stepping up. I mean, for crying out loud, we had a Frank Zombo, Eric Walden, Howard Green, guys that were being brought off the street to contribute. They did. And you got to give them credit. Sam Shields was a rookie that year. But from a pure domination standpoint, that potential is here for this team. And man, I cannot wait to see it fully develop. Fully develop as the season goes along. I mean, I've been excited. I think probably cautiously optimistic for other defenses over the years. But in terms of just pure like, oh, dude, I wanna watch the defense. Like, I wanna see this group go out there and hunt, and I wanna see this group go out there and eat and get after the quarterback and do this, and that. I don't know the last time. I don't know the last time I felt where I wanna see this defense on the field because of the potential of all that playmaking going on, because of the potential of just how dominant they can be. And I just hope that lives up to it. I mean, week 1 looked pretty darn good. You got the rest of the football media talking about them. And kid you not, I mean, we've talked about it before. You look at the schedule. There's some really high potent offenses on there. We need that defense. Commanders, I don't know what yet to make about the Cowboys. I know first half, like, oh, okay. We'll see. Bengals, I refuse to believe the Bengals offense, what they showed in week 1 is what it's gonna continue to be. Cardinals with a Kyler Murray and a Marvin Harrison Jr., Steelers, Eagles, Vikings, Bears, Ravens. I can't wait to see this defense going up against those guys. I just, Jeff Hafley's probably gonna get a head coaching job, especially if this defense is like the cream of the crop. after this year. But man, Jeff, if you don't want to be a head coach, that's fine, dude. Just stay around and be the coach of the defense, okay? Just stay in Green Bay right now. Just stay, please, please. We'll start a petition. All right, maybe we'll start it online right now today. Start a petition of Jeff Hafley. You can never leave Green Bay. All right, you got to stay there if this continues this way. All right, we got to take our final break and get to some picks here. Final call for any of your predictions on the game. Text it, comment on the video streams. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. So, like I said, I wanted to start to end each program with a little tip of the cap. Acknowledge some good stuff out there and cool stories or whatever. I want to give a big tip of the cap to Zach on our YouTube stream, Sam, C-Bomb. It's been a lot of fun. I know Zach said, thanks for sharing thoughts. It's been awesome talking football morning. No, thank you. I'll tell you this. Because of you and everybody who texted this morning, we had a bunch of new texters on here this morning too. So a big thanks for that. I'll just say this has been a ton of fun this morning talking with all of you, and that's what this is supposed to be about. I want your opinions. This is your program. This is your chance to send us your opinions, your thoughts on the sports world. I want to give you all that opportunity. That's what the goal is for this program. So don't ever be too shy, too nervous, or don't think, nah, I'm not going to send it. I want to hear it. Okay. I want to hear it. I value everybody's opinion and I want to hear it because it's everybody's. This isn't mine. This is everybody's. So please send those over. And I got to tell you, this has probably been the most fun I've had in the last few days. Won't get into too many details, but it's been kind of a tough last few days here. So big thanks for everybody for chiming in and participating. I love it. I love it, and thank you so much, especially the new listeners and watchers on the video streams. I really appreciate it. So with that, let's get to some picks here, baseball wise. Again, no Brewers game today. Off day today for the crew before they start the 3-game series at home against the Cardinals. We got Pittsburgh taking on Baltimore. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. We got Tampa and Chicago. I'm gonna go with the Rays. Houston, Blue Jays. I'll go with the Blue Jays. Washington and Miami. I'll go with Miami. Detroit and the Yankees. Detroit 11-1 victory yesterday. I'm gonna go New York though today. Kansas City and Cleveland. Give me the Guardians. Mets and Philly. I mean, are the Phillies going to continue this role? Why not? I'll go with the Phillies, making it a little bit closer here for that top spot in the National League. We've got the Angels and the Mariners. I'm going to go with the Mariners. Rockies, Padres. I'm going to go with the Padres. So now, finally, tonight's game. Here's how it's going to play out. This is how it's going to play out. Exactly like this. Green Bay wins 31 to 17. 31 to 17. A little bit of a bigger gap than I usually go with my picks, but I liked Evans' little nugget earlier in the program. A Matt LaFleur team has never scored fewer than 30 points against a Dan Quinn team going back to Atlanta. Thought that was a good nugget. I like this defense. There's a lot of confidence with this team. Even if the Packers are missing their first or missing 2 of their starting offensive linemen, I like the Cowboys team. It's a short week. They're at home. Okay. You got the oldest team in the league with Washington going up against the youngest team. How much does that short week affect a little bit of the older bodies over there in Washington? But I think it's going to be an electric environment. I think the team is going to feed off that confidence. I think it's even going to be louder at Lambeau Field than it was on Sunday. I'm going with a 31-17 Packers victory. And we're going to be talking on a Victory Friday tomorrow, a 2-0 start against 2 NFC teams. That is huge. One of them being your division opponent. May not mean or may not seem like a big thing right now at this current time. But once we get later in the season, picking up 2 wins, 2 early conference wins are going to be huge. Huge for the Pack. So enjoy the game tonight. Again, hopefully we're talking about a Victory Friday tomorrow. Bill Michaels is up next. Have a good rest of your day. Same place, same time. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Talk to you all then.